Hopefully this happens. Alright, I am supposed to be talking to Danielle Pentsak. Technical difficulties. Give her some more time, see if she's willing to keep trying. But alright, I um I alright, well, alright, yeah, so I'm gonna see if she wants to keep trying. I don't know exactly what's going on. But I want to test my sound real quick. Alright, yeah, so. So, I can play? Alright, this is what we're doing until. Why is there feedback? There's no feedback when I'm in Discord. Oh, it's because I don't have a noise gate on that yet. Alright, yeah, this is what we're gonna do until she. Gets here and is ready. I haven't played this game in forever. Filter. All right. Why can't I hear the game? Where's the game sound at? That's what I need to know. The fuck is this? Why is this on here? How do I get that off? I don't need that shit. Fuck me, man. How do I get my camera off from Steam games? Alright. This is ridiculous. Alright, query content. You. Private files. Recording privacy. Did that fix it? No, it didn't fix it. Use Discord overlay while playing. Press shift to show. So it's shift this. This. I'm gonna take. Oh, settings. Hide. Hide. Okay. Wait. Still showing it. Oh, well. Okay, now I need to figure out what the fuck's going on with the sound. Oh, there it is. I just turned off the music, apparently. Alright, we are going to play some Binding of Isaac, and hopefully get her shit together, so that this isn't the only thing I do this stream. Look at it. I don't even know. What are you doing here? I see. Alright, leave. Leave. Both of you. Can you beat Satan with him? Beat Greed with him. Greed with Eve. I think that's... Let's try to beat Satan with his L. Easy other. Oh no! I need to do a lot of things on this character. Curse of the Blind. Yeah, we take those. I don't need this shit this loud. I think that's it. Sacrifice room, don't need. Oh. Ah! Got me. Range up is actually really good for this character. Ugh. Mm. Oh, you got it. Agree with me. Okay, I was gonna say they have not given me a single penny, and they just gave me a penny. But still, I need 15 to make it worth going into the store. Guys. Yeah, get your ass over here. Oh, shit, I didn't even know I get red hearts on this character. I thought they just turned to black hearts. Ah! Diamonds. A good card. Health down. Watch. Ooh, speed up.
Speed up.
Alright. Hey.
Hello? Oh,
Hey.
I don't know if you can hear or see me.
I can hear and see you. Can you not hear and see me?
You muted? I can't.
Oh, goodness. I had all this. Hold on a second.
Output. This is not working. Hold on.
Output, input device,
P4.
razor. Should be working.
Microphone. What is going on? Where am I supposed to have the audio?
FM.
Or something?
Oh, voice set.
Output device.
No, speakers.
Wait a minute.
There you go.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Finally. Okay, we managed. Thank you.
You did it. Oh, you did it.
I guess. Yeah. The Discord was not working. Sorry about that. I haven't used it in like ever since we talked actually, I think. So,
Really?
yeah, I don't really use Discord.
Crazy. What do you usually use?
I mean, I guess I stream through Rumble. Yeah, I just stream through. No, well, Zoom. I guess I use Zoom through Rumble.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I just do Zoom. I don't really do use Discord. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. So
That and that's exactly
are
what I
we?
wanted.
Yeah, we're live.
Fantastic. Alright, cool. What's up, Daniella? How are
I'm
you?
doing pretty well. How are you? I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Oh goodness.
Were you playing just video games before I joined, or?
Yeah, I was like, well, I had it on the starting soon screen for a while. Then I was like, it's been on the starting soon screen for like 30 minutes. And then I put it onto Discord. I was like, surely she'll be on soon. And then when soon didn't happen, I was like, I gotta like play video games or something.
That happened to me yesterday. I had a debate on then one of the debaters came in like 40 minutes late. So
Oh
I was just like
gosh,
interviewing one of them and I just like improved because he had just flown in from like a vacation and we managed though. He came in and we still had the debate, so
that's good.
it all worked out.
What have you been up to? You said you're doing Substack and you've got some other things.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, so I am like out and about, I'm around, but what I primarily focus on, I have two projects. One is Culturama, my like stream show, but I primarily do it through Rumble, but other like platforms as well, like X, YouTube, Twitch. The most I get through is Rumble. And that's like twice a week. And then I do video game streams actually on Saturdays for that. And then I also have a Substack I am trying to grow. It's called the Dialectic Project. And that's what I'm like trying to focus on to grow because Culturama, it's through the For Liberty Network, so I will always have like some kind of an audience, but I want to build my own like organic audience through Substack. So that's what I've been focusing on as well. And that's like more word heavy. Obviously, I write more and I try to have podcast episodes there when I have the time.
You could do podcasts on Substack.
Yes, you can. Yep.
Oh.
I put mine behind a paywall there. But yeah, you can do video, audio, and written form.
Did not know that. You're playing video games? What are you playing?
Good question. It's whatever people suggest. So I have played. Let's see what I have on the laptop here. I have played. A fan favorite is Civilization. Actually, the
Okay.
fans like it when I play Civilization. I primarily just play Civilization 4. Disco Elysium I played recently. That one was okay. I did Hollow Knight was one that they really liked. I am sort of bad with directions. So some of my fans got a little pissy with me when I couldn't figure out how to navigate through the maps or the labyrinths
Mm-hmm.
on Hollow Knight, but I figured that out. What else have I played? Um Hypnospace Outlaw I played. They didn't like that one too much. I might play video games tonight. I don't know if I have more time. I'm trying to reach a certain number of hours this month because I wanted to stay in the Rumble program. So I'm like, I'm trying to get like up to 5 members only hours by the end. So I might do that tonight. I don't know. It'll be like a surprise stream.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So, well, that's cool. You said that something that you have been focusing on is something to the tune of like political I forgot what word you used.
Is it archetypes?
Archetypes, that's the word. Yes.
Yeah.
Archetypes. You want to tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Sure thing. So one of the main topics I talk about on my Substack, and this is more of a Substack dialectic project topic, but I will sometimes weave it into my stream. Is I talk about archetypes, and in the political world, but also just you can apply it to anyone really. You don't have to be involved in politics. And Jungian archetypes, that's a concept that gets thrown around a lot. Most people are just generally tangentially familiar with it from Carl Jung. But what I've done and what I found interesting is that I'm like interested in that kind of stuff. I'm interested in psychology and sort of like the esoteric. And specifically through working in politics, but also just navigating through real life in general. I have found that there are like general archetypes that people can fit into, and one of the things that I was drawn to that, and especially during college, was trying to find like I mean I guess everyone's obsessed with purpose and meaning in college, right? I guess everyone is to a certain degree even afterwards. And I was looking into like the Jungian archetypes at that time, and there was this concept where I don't know if you've heard about it, but with like the 4 masculine archetypes, and there's like a book written by it that is derived from Jungian thought, and but I never found that to be applied towards women. There's a few like self-help books out there that have been written where there's like 7 archetypes of women, or 5 or 8, but it's never like the base 4. And so when I was writing my Substack, I wanted to make my own 4 feminine archetypes that I see throughout the world of politics and elsewhere. And so I sort of devised that, and I wrote an article about it. It's still accessible on Substack. It's called, I think, just like the 4 main feminine archetypes. And then I wrote with a similar one for men as well. And I think that if we as a society understand and identify what archetypes are, the importance of them, and apply them to people, that way I do think that although it's a long process, we will be able to sort of like um address certain societal ills. And so I feel like we don't have this knowledge, this like sometimes even ancient knowledge anymore of what it means to be, as an individual and befitting of your specific archetype. But I can elaborate further on what I mean by that, if depending on what questions you have. But
So what I'm hearing is that you have you've separated men versus women, and within those groups, you have come up with 4 political archetypes.
yeah, I mean, so I see it happen throughout politics, but I see it happen also in real life. I read a lot about politics and culture. So, they just kind of like blend together often and conflate. But yeah, there's like 4 main ones. So I can like explain them to you if you want
Yeah,
me to like go a little bit more in depth. Okay, cool. Cool. And I don't know if I can like pull up images on, can I pull up images on Discord?
you
Like
could
my screen, or
yeah, if you go where your camera is, or the share your screen, it's like a little monitor with a
yeah, the share your screen thing. Okay, let me
yeah.
open up my
Just
Substack and I can just show you, because
all right. Just make sure you don't have anything naughty pulled up on there.
no,
That
I'm
would
good. I'm
be
good. So
very bad for
it's
both of
all
us.
good. Yeah, no kidding. Let me find my article here. So here it is. Here it is. Okay, gonna share screen. And there we go. Okay, you see that, right?
I do, but I'm gonna see if I can make this. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the article I wrote about this, and I'm not gonna read the entire article, but this is a sort of thing you see when you look up male archetypes. There's always 4, and 4 is a very sacred number. And so that's why there's also 4 there. I can go on and on about the number 4, but anyway, this was first written by a book by Robert Moore and Douglas Gillette, and they sort of popularized this concept. Have you seen this like this chart before at
Not
all?
at
Like the
all.
magician, warrior, king, lover. Okay. In like popular psychology, this is often referenced. Every guy typically falls in any one of these subsets here. They didn't have the same thing for women. So that's why I sort of wanted to look into it and make my own based off of this. So I created this, and there are 4 main ones. And this chart looks rather complicated, but I used the archetypes or deities from ancient religions. In this case, it would be like the Greek religion, the ancient Greek religion, where I have Hera, Demeter, Persephone, and Artemis. And so my theory is that all women generally fall into one of these 4 categories, or their extensions. Like you have Athena and Hera. That's a different conversation. We can talk about that. But everyone typically falls in one of the 4, and that's what I'm sort of like working off of. And I think that if we are able to sort of decipher, like, okay, well, if there's most women are born as a Persephone archetype, what does that mean? What career fields will she generally go into? If we can identify that early on in life, I think that will make things a whole lot easier. For instance, you don't have to oversaturate the United States college system with people that may not be, in the right environment, may not be able to spend their time best in college and academia. Um, or likewise, you have a woman that maybe would be more befit for uh more of a career. She's more agentic. She wants a more career driven lifestyle. Well, she shouldn't have to be forced to stay at home, right? So that's sort of why I devised this and saying like, okay, look, there are archetypes of women. There are main four, and we should be able to determine where she goes in life. You know, if we can identify early on where she is, and I think all of us intuitively know where we fall into this.
Where do you fall
And
in?
it's a very, very good question. So upon writing this, I think I fall into the Vesta category, and I can explain why. But I fall into this category right here.
Why?
But
What is Vesta?
So yeah, so Vesta is a deity. Do you want me to keep sharing the screen, or do you want me to
Whatever.
just go back on?
Whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever
Okay,
you
let's see.
feel like most appropriate.
Because I can't see you, so I want to be able to have a conversation. Wait. Okay, there. Okay, I can see it now. Cool. Yeah. So with the Artemis archetype, there is this is an individual as you okay, so you can see through the points on the edge where it says agentic, mater, and pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
So what I tried to do in the article, and anyone can go back and read, but I don't think it's it could be behind a paywall now, but anyway. But these three, this is like a free rundown for anyone that's not subscribed, I guess. But these three qualifications is what I use to determine what a girl will typically be. If she's more agentic, she gets a plus. If she's more mater, less mater, she gets a minus. And I feel like I fit under these qualifications. So by agentic, how I describe it in the article, is someone that is more interested in exerting themselves in the physical material world, if that makes sense. And they're like interested in manipulating the external environment to their own benefit. And so that's what I would determine as someone who is agentic. Not everyone's agentic, men or women, but some are more agentic than others. It's more of like a spectrum, is how I look at it. But if one is more agentic than the rest, then they typically fall as a positive agentic. Mater is someone that, as a woman, is more interested in more maternal affairs, right? So that's obvious. And then pleasure is someone that's seeking a more aesthetic lifestyle or more pleasure-oriented activities, as opposed to more of the ethic lifestyle. Or I think it was it Kierkegaard that I think it was Kierkegaard that defined the difference between the two. A life of aestheticism versus the life of like a ethically driven, like, you know, for instance, knowing your purpose more in life rather than like superficial things. And so anyone, for instance, that falls into those categories would be the Artemis. The reason why I say I'm Vesta or Hestia is because this is more the turbulent form of the archetype, and I think I'm just more of a turbulent form for various reasons. And I still have to find a way to describe how exactly we can measure turbulency, but how I describe like the best way I can explain it through this article is that turbulency is basically that main archetype, like I am the Artemis archetype, but with maladaptive features. Like, for instance, I am more introverted and more antisocial than your general person, so I have developed more of like a maladaptive version of this archetype. So that's why I think I'm Vesta. And Vesta is she's a deity of the hearth fire. So she's very much like inclined towards she is agentic, and she has that hearth fire within her, but it's more hidden because she developed more maladaptively. And so that's why I think I'm more of the Vesta figure, which is interesting because in my masculine version of this chart, I also have Lucifer and Prometheus in this chart as well, which is also aligned with fire. Also, we can go over my masculine version of this, but that's pretty much why I think I'm there. But anyway.
All right, cool.
I'm kind of going on and on.
No, you're
about that,
fine.
sorry.
What else have you been up to?
Yeah, well, I've been doing this and like culture ramen, like I said, I can stop sharing the screen. Hold on.
What is Culturama? What do you do? Like, obviously you focus on cultural stuff, right?
Yes. Here, let me show you the logo. This is the logo right here.
You got a pillow? That's cute.
I got a pillow. The people that signed me on, it's through the For Liberty Network. We also have one of my dog because people like he makes appearances sometimes.
Okay.
But yeah, Culturama, it's hence the name. I do talk about culture and politics and just the news. I I am trying to make it more to like a deep dive thing though. I mean, initially when I started, it was more just like me talking about the news, try to have hot takes on politics, and I feel like that is a very oversaturated market these days. And also I'm just not good at it. Like I have thoughts and opinions, but I can't do hot takes. I have to like think about it and mill about it before I actually have a conclusion. So I'm trying to like steer the direction of the show where I kind of do more deep dives. But I sometimes have like interview guests. I just had my first debate panel. Yeah, with do you know Soy Pill or the Soy Pill?
Yeah, the guy that's got like the muscle guy with the glasses as his icon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was recommended to me as a like a leftist. I want to bring you on though for the next debate panel.
absolutely. Look, I'm gonna
If
warn
you're
you.
willing.
I want to warn you. For some reason, whenever I get into like a right wing Discord, they end up kicking me out. I have been kicked out of and I'm not, I don't. It's not. I'm not toxic. The last guy that kicked me out. Do you know who Tyler, the average debater, is? He's like in that soy pill wick realm.
Okay.
But yeah, he kicked me out because he said that I was like partisan. I was like really hyper partisan. And he called me bad faith, which is like not true. I believe the things that
Sure.
I say. Like
Yeah.
I can see why he says hyper partisan because like my takes usually are just like Trump. Everything Trump is doing is bad. I don't like a lot of the things, like most of the things that Trump is doing. I believe that a lot of the people that I talk to are like they have TDS, but like in the other direction. It's like
Sure.
nothing Trump can do is bad. It seems like, and when they do criticize Trump, it's usually on like the mildest shit. It's like, yeah, he's kind of like a Twitter edgelord, but yeah, it's, who cares if he's invading DC with the National Guard for no reason? Like, so I don't know. I guess I come off as very unhinged when I'm just constantly Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad, because I'm trying to like show these people that don't think that anything Trump does is bad.
Right. Well, yeah. Well, then I don't. For my debate panels, I would think I prefer someone more partisan, so it'll be more interesting. My thing is though, I want to make sure that I match people with their skill level and their debate level. Obviously, they have to agree with a topic. I just want to make sure that I can find someone that's. If you could compare yourself to like someone's debate skills, who would you say you would? Maybe it's a hard question to answer. I'm just curious, like, or if you can name someone on the right side, like in the right wing.
I okay. Do you know who what was his name? I don't think he even debates anymore. I think I'm better than Wick, if that's any consolation.
Okay.
I'm probably not as good as someone like Destiny.
Well, Destiny's like
Yeah, he's
a
like
pro at this point, right?
yeah, he's been doing this for a long time. I think I'm definitely certainly above average. And I think I'm better than most of the people on the left. That's probably including Soy Pill. I've seen him on debate panels and wasn't very impressed.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I've also got to like have time to prepare because I've got to get my material. I'm only good if I feel like I know the material.
Yeah, of course. No, for sure. I wouldn't like throw it on you a week in advance. When I reached out to Soy Pill and Kai Clips, who was the other guy, I did like I think like 3-4 weeks in advance. So
Okay.
yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I want to make another one. It's just difficult to find people like that can all do on the same day, and then I do want to like match skill level and be fair about that. But yeah, what we did, I want to do more of that. I feel like I think like that's more. First of all, it's more fun and interesting than just hearing me talk all the time. Additionally, it kind of like I want to bring more external viewpoints, even though I'm more of like a libertarian or right wing talk show, you could say. We're conservative. I would say it's like right libertarian. I want to bring people of other viewpoints on the show as well, sort of like to have more of a dialectic going on. So that's my main goal going forward. I think is doing that and doing like maybe more topical deep dives. But that's basically what I've been doing there.
Yeah, I mean, I'd absolutely be down for a debate. The whole reason I go into like right wing circles is because I like debating people. Um,
Cool.
yeah.
Have you debated anyone recently that's happened
Um,
online?
Tyler and Gibbs were like the last group of people that,
Gibbs.
yeah. And
Was that through Wix channel or?
I was in Gibbs's Discord for a while, and
Okay.
Gibbs and I were actually trying to do a show together. I guess he was either just too busy or not that interested in it. But it was a show where we would play a co-op video game. So we're working together in a video game, but we would be debating politics at the same time. And I thought that was an
Gotcha.
interesting idea. And he did one episode with me, and then just it sort of fell off. Um,
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
yeah,
Well, that's unfortunate. I would watch that.
yeah.
So like, okay, I've had people, I'm part of like this Discord channel through the Culturama thing, through the For Liberty Network, and I'm trying to like, I am not good with Discord, but you can do, they've been clamoring that I do like a community, how do I put this? Like they all want to play video games with me on Discord
Mm-hmm.
during my gaming streams. So is that like something I just do through the channel then, or how does that exactly work?
Do you have any type of like Patreon or anything like that? A way for
Um,
people to donate to you?
yeah, well, they donate through Rumble, but I do have I have a separate Patreon for myself, and then for the Culturama, they just donate through Rumble.
Because
So,
because I'll tell you, like, how many people do you have in your community?
so on like on a good day, I may have like 40 viewers on Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
40, 50, that a really good day is like 50. I've had way more, but those are like special episodes. Those are like if I have like a really big guest. I want an average day. I would average around like 30 maybe. In the channel itself, I think I have like 50-ish last I checked.
So my guess
So
would
it's not like
be
huge,
my guess would
but
be is that if you open yourself up to playing with like the people in your community, you're going to have probably at least 90% of those people wanting to play some sort of video game with you. So you would have to find a way to filter them out. And a good way for you financially could be to be like, hey, my top Rumble donors or my top Patreons, top five, I'll or top four. I'll pick a day in the month, like on Wednesdays. I'm gonna play with my top four from last month, or something like that. You would figure out how to work that out. But yeah, you would ask them which video game do you want to play, and you would play it. Do you use OBS? How do you stream?
I use OBS, yeah.
So you know how to do like share screen and stuff like that, right? You have multiple monitors.
No, I have just this laptop though.
Okay, so
Um,
go to Goodwill and
yeah.
get yourself a flat screen TV with an
I need to
HDMI.
get another one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you'll play the game on one monitor. You'll have like your OBS and all that stuff on the other monitor. I have three, which is a little bit. It's not necessary to have three, but it just helps a little bit more. But yeah, and you would Steam. You have Steam, right?
Yes, I have Steam.
Yeah, you friend the people that you're playing with. You play the game with them, and
That's gonna be
stream
my
it.
next project. Yeah, no, for sure, I'm gonna do that because I do want to be able to play with them.
Yeah.
Because before right now it's just me playing video games and they're just chatting with me, and that's like cool and all, but I want to be able to participate with them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, I think that would be really good. It would be good for your community, and if you enjoy video games, it'd be fun for you to have co-op video, especially since you said you were introverted, right?
oh, extremely, yeah.
But like,
Extremely.
I'm guessing that being online and talking to people is probably like a social event for you that you're able to do without feeling like so exhausting.
I mean, I do it. It really depends on the day, but it is. I would say it's easier than doing it in like IRL.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like
So
you and I couldn't have this conversation in real life without it just completely draining you. Is it that bad or?
no, that's a very good question. So I'm like, I've always been introverted, but I have, for some reason, I don't know why, have found myself in like positions all throughout my 20s that required me to be extroverted, if that makes sense. Like I worked in politics and that, and I was like doorbelling, working on campaigns, and I don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of weird. It's like this inner conflict. Like I want roles where I'm in, have like a public presence,
Mm-hmm.
but I find myself being extremely introverted, and so anyway, throughout my 20s, I have forced myself and I've trained myself to be, act a particular way. So I can like talk to people whatever in public all the time, but yeah, I do find it like draining to a degree. Um so it's like I can do it. It's just more difficult, and I feel like that's a lot of what natural introverts understand, is that they have to like force themselves to do it.
Okay. I sent you a text because I don't know how much of whatever, you know.
Yeah, sure. Hold on. Um oh, you texted me about the technical stuff.
I did.
um but yeah, I've been trying to hold on a second. Okay. Everyone's texting me all at the same time. Very very nice.
Hmm.
um yeah, but finding work in the political world, let me tell you, it is challenging. It all takes having and knowing connections.
Hmm.
And what I'm also finding is that transitioning to a more online platform, because I primarily do everything from home at this point. Because I've done a lot of like on the ground field work, and that's one thing. I will say I do like transitioning to a more online platform, and I feel like that's clearly like the future of politics in general. Um, but it's way more influential. Like with the last election, we've been seeing a lot of these. Did Kamala Harris ever make it to a podcast? I know Trump did. Or did
She
she
did
was she
something
the one?
called "Call Me Daddy." I don't know it.
Right,
She did
right.
that, but yeah, no, the Democrats were way far behind on that, which is surprising because Obama was like the first internet president, and Democrats just sort of forgot about that. I guess with Joe Biden because he's like 93 years old.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, no. No, for sure. But yeah, with the online like podcasts and what don't get forgive me, forgive me. Can you correct me if I'm wrong, but was Donald Trump or someone was an Asmongold stream? Am I wrong there?
Not Asmongold. Donald Trump went
No.
on fuck, what is that kid's name that was like
It's like someone that has that same vibe.
Aiden
So
Aiden Ross.
Aiden Ross. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Like that was wild to me. So I think, and a lot of people like joke and say like online platforms and like some like stuff like this don't make any difference, but they make a lot of difference, and these people don't really know what they're talking about when they say that.
Oh yeah, I think the
Um,
the whole political world has completely changed their mind on that.
mhm,
Because like yeah, Gavin Newsom went on the Bulwark. I was just listening to them talk earlier today.
yeah.
So like the Democratic front runner is going on all these shows now. I think he went on Pod Save America. Um,
And
so
surprisingly, was he the one that invited Charlie Kirk on his podcast,
he
or
invited
was it the other
Charlie
way
Kirk
around?
on his podcast. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And
That was. What do you think his strategy was there? Or he also
um
got Steve Bannon, right?
yeah, I think he tried to talk to Steve Bennett. He was just
Yeah.
really trying to understand like, all right, for someone like me, for someone like Gavin Newsom, we really, really do not understand people who voted for Trump. Um, so his goal was to try and understand the people who support Trump so vehemently that they are like out there doing things for Trump. Um,
How do you
so
think the
yeah,
conversation went when he had that with Charlie? I think it was
that's cordial.
enlightening. Like, yeah, it was cordial. Like they made some of that. Well, anyway, um, yeah, and I think that I feel like the Democrats, and I don't know enough about the Democratic Party like I do with the GOP, but I certainly see them, especially like key figures in the movement like Gavin, really working towards actually reinventing the wheel because they saw, how they performed last time. And Joe Biden, what do you think their strategy was in rerunning him? Is it simply, or did it just came down to
It
them not
was
having anyone else,
no,
or
it was selfishness on Joe Biden's part.
okay, that's okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
like Joe Biden during his first 3.5 years, he did some good things, and I don't want to take that away from him. But in the end, there, he was greedy and selfish, and it cost, in my opinion, us the election. I mean, honestly, I think that Trump is a threat to America. And like, so that Joe Biden spoke like he did think that, but he didn't act like it. He looked at his poll numbers and said that polling is wrong, which sometimes polling is off. But like you can't like deny reality that you walked out of there unpopular.
Sure. Yeah.
So, and that's what he did, and that's insane to me. I would have voted for him, even if he was like on his way out of the mortal realm. I would have still voted for him because I truly do think that Trump is a threat. I think that I'm actually kind of curious with you, like with everything that's happened in the last 8 months, or I'll give it 7 months. How are you feeling about the Trump presidency?
Initially, I was pretty excited, and I like where things are going. Lately, I don't like where things are going now. I think that, and there's like a couple things that really got under my skin. The way that he handled, and everyone was talking about this on both sides, the Epstein stuff.
Yeah.
That and it, well, first I think it was in March with the little binders that he gave out to those, especially those right-wing influencers.
Mm-hmm.
um was very strange, and I don't know what the idea was behind that. I didn't like it. And then fast forward to just what happened last month or a few weeks ago now, where now he says it's not a big deal. I that to me was like a really weird kill shot, because to himself, because that's like, I'm not going to say that was like a main voting issue for a lot of his, that was like the sole voting issue for a lot of his base, but that is one of like the animating features of what the MAGA movement, typically is interested in and is invested in. And for him to say that rubbed me the wrong way, and it felt to me like, yeah, a part of him is sort of like forsaking his base, especially knowing, or think I would think he understands where his base is coming from, and the type of people they are and the interests they have, and why they see him as a viable candidate, or previously when he was a viable candidate. So I didn't like that. I wasn't a fan of the tariffs. I can understand his strategy. I don't think in the long run it's a really good one though. Um, so yeah, that's that. There was another thing that just happened, and I don't remember what it
What
was
about
that he
the
did.
National Guard in D.C.?
The National Guard in DC, I did talk about that. So DC, as far as I understand, and I could be wrong on this, but that is within his jurisdiction,
Sure.
and
Go ahead.
that I have no issue with. However, I do not like him mentioning or hinting at, because I think he did, doing it elsewhere outside
Mhm.
of DC. I think he mentioned
Yeah, no, he's
Detroit.
mentioned it a lot, and also he's done it in L.A. already.
Yeah, LA was a completely, yeah. That was in January, right? Or was it no, no, no,
It
that
was
was in January.
spring
The
because
forest fires were no, not the wildfires were during January. It was just a few months ago, I think, with the riots
yeah,
that
yeah,
happened.
yeah, the
Yeah.
yeah. Um, okay. So you don't like that? You don't like the tariffs? What about the budget bill they passed?
The budget bill that just passed. Are you talking about like the big beautiful bill?
I'm not calling it that, but yes.
Okay. Okay. That is such a monstrous bill, and I'm not going to claim that I've looked into all of that.
Okay.
Are you talking about like something specific within it,
Yeah.
or?
Well, let's just talk about the estimates that it's going to raise the deficit.
The estimates that's going to raise the deficit.
Yeah, yeah, just the idea that if it does, we don't know if the estimates are correct, but if it does, make the deficit be higher than it is now. We're spending more money than we're making than we were last year.
Sure. Yeah.
That
So I don't, I'm not quite sure about that. So I haven't looked into that aspect of it, honestly. I don't know.
What about cutting Medicaid?
Yeah, cutting Medicaid. Honestly, I don't really have much of an issue with that part. And I think that we should probably look into more areas where we can save some more resources.
So are you like, What is your opinion on like welfare?
So I would, like I mentioned, I am like a right-leaning libertarian. I do think there are exceptions, obviously. I think there are exceptions, and there's some cases where we can have something like welfare, obviously. But I think that the way that it's being applied perhaps is a little bit too liberal. I don't want to be I don't want to be a complete like hands-off person where we shouldn't have any services like that for individuals. But I think that you may have to, you know, fit certain criteria, and I do believe that those criteria should be somewhat stringent. So, but especially like on top of that, if we were to cut out a big portion of these things to what we're giving it to, which is like immigrants, for instance, I also think that could save a lot of our resources in that area as well, without having to necessarily like modify it completely.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So would you prefer if we weren't giving resources to migrants? Or like what would your ideal system for that look like?
Yeah, I mean, I prefer that we don't give it to migrants. No,
At all?
no, at least not right now. I don't think we're in the state to do that right now. There are, once again, and also like there's a lot of these NGOs that are giving these resources as well to these people, which I mean does get its funding through the government at some points as well. But I think that facilitating that is not the best way to benefit our country. There is a lot of resources that are given to these people, and one of the things that like got me sort of that kind of like polarized me on this specific topic was the South African situation. I don't know if you remember that when that transpired, but where they had the 50 South Africans.
Yeah, I remember.
Um, yeah, they came in, or yeah, there was going to come in, and there was this one particular organization. It was with the Episcopalian Church, I do believe. But they do get their funding through public sources. Is saying that they didn't want to help those refugees, and it went against like their principles as a church, and that's when I realized like, okay, well, if they don't want to like, if we're making like a hubbub about this because they're from South Africa. I don't understand why we're making an issue about that, but not the other individuals that are coming here from other countries. So I found that, especially because it was just such a small amount, just 50. Um, so I think pinpointing cases like that speaks to a lot of like critiquing some of these systems. I'm not necessarily opposed to the idea of like helping migrants. Absolutely not. But at the same time, I think we need to be aware of how much money we really are putting into this versus, helping out some of the people here at home. Like we have a homeless epidemic, for instance,
Uh-huh.
which we think we can utilize resources more effectively there. But I mean, on top of that, when we do have individuals that we could help, and we choose not to, for some reason, I found that people like the South African situation, I found that odd, and it made me question the entire system that we're relying on for that.
Okay, but like the Episcopalian Church, and I'm getting this from AI because this is a
Sure.
that specific situation isn't something that I've heard of, but like
Sure.
this also intuitively just seems right to me. That there was like other services that got their funding from the government, to help those people. So even though that like that one organization refused to help, there were still other ones that did step in and help them. I think that your critique is it may be appropriate for like that one organization, and I wouldn't be opposed to a government looking into that organization and figuring out what's going on there.
Sure.
But like
Yeah,
the concept as a whole seems to still worked out for them.
Yeah, well, there was a conference about this that the Secretary of State Marco Rubio had on regards to this with I this is why I suck at these conversations because I can never remember the names. There was a panel that was held with I can look it up actually because Marco Rubio. Anyway, but they were making a problem about this on this panel. Hold on a second. Tim Kaine. Was it Tim Kaine? Yeah. So like the situation where Tim Kaine questioned Marco Rubio, for instance, about bringing these people in, like we do have institutional figures that are questioning it, right? And um, and I'm not saying like we didn't help them at all. I'm not saying that. I'm saying though that seeing how much like media coverage that did result in, and how we did have institutional figures sort of question the Secretary of State and saying, why is this occurring? Why is this happening? Um, Sort of like raised eyebrows for me, because we give funding for a good amount of migrants from other countries. But when it came to a very small amount like the 50 from South Africa, I do want to ask why that would be though, because like why is it just that 50? Um, so anyway, I that case just in particular sort of like bothered me, but that's not like the main reason why I have issues with giving funding these programs that facilitate migrants to come in here. That's not like the main reason. That's just something I was quite curious about.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what their logic was. They actually ended their partnership with the U.S. government the end of the fiscal year, which I think was in July. Um, like that organization itself doesn't even work with the government anymore. Um,
In
my
July?
I think that's the end of the fiscal. It's the end of the state's fiscal year. I don't know if it's the same for the federal government.
I'm
Um,
not sure.
but yeah,
Recently, though, if that's the case.
I think that the issue with the 50 refugees from South Africa is that it would be like a similar thing for, if somebody came from Venezuela and was claiming refugee status when they were just like trying to get um, better jobs. Like, what was their refugee claim in the first place? Was there actual like basis for their claim? And I think that was the issue with the South African people, especially when you have like the administration welcoming these people in with what I believe, intuitively think, just because of the media circles that I'm in, was probably a bullshit claim for refugee.
Sure.
But at the same time, we're getting rid of TPS for Haitians and Argentinians or Venezuelans, who probably I think it's Venezuelans that had it, who probably has a much more legitimate claim than like those 50 South Africans.
Yeah, and it's sort of the conversation that, we've been going back and forth for the last several years now is there actually targeted genocide in South Africa? And this is such a weird topic because I hadn't like really looked into it until recently when this whole story came out. So I'm not going to claim like I'm an expert on it, but from what I saw, it does seem to be like, and I follow accounts that like on X that chronicle this and have their own experiences living in South Africa that talk about in great detail that there is like there is a genocide that's occurring, which is like they're targeting these people for their ethnic heritage, and they are killing them, attacking them, whatnot, physically assaulting them, and also it's becoming like, and there's a lot of South Africans, Boers as they call it, the Boers, that aren't going to leave, but there was just that 50 that wanted to leave for said reason. And the reason why it is sort of like a difficult, and this is why I think they originally didn't want to investigate it further or accept them, is because there was like this narrative for a long time that there wasn't a genocide occurring there.
Mm-hmm.
And some think there is, and some think there isn't. So it's sort of like this clash of narratives that's been happening in South Africa specifically.
Yeah.
So it's awkward for them to, because I don't think it's like officially recognized yet, at least not by us. But there are like figureheads, including like Elon Musk, for instance, that was previously part of the administration that I think was trying to accept that narrative that there is a genocide happening there.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen anything. I've never looked into it, but I haven't seen anything that should, like, from what I understand, the evidence is weak.
Well, I mean, they have institutional figures literally singing songs about like publicly about killing Boers. And I mean that's been floating around online, and I don't see anyone in the mainstream media talk about it, but like you can look it up. Like I forgot his name. I can find him, I'm sure, in a minute here, but he was there's like this popular song there
Uh-huh.
Killing the Boer song.
And the Boers
Here
are
it is.
like a group of white people that refuse to leave South Africa.
Yeah, so back in like a few hundred years ago, the Boers is it literally translates to farmer from Dutch, I believe. And they settled there a few hundred years ago, and that's just like their the people that are white there now. There's just the generations following after there. And there's this. I'm trying to kill the Boer. Here we go. Yeah, Senator Marco Rubio talked about it already. So there's this popular chant. It's called "Kill the Boer," and there was a government official from South Africa that was singing this in a stadium, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm just trying to find the name of the guy. Julius Malema, that's his name. Here we go. Julius
Yeah.
Malema.
Yeah, I see
Yeah.
it. In 2025, Julius Malema, leader of the Opposition Economic Freedom Fighters (EFF) party, was found guilty of hate speech by South Africa's Equality Court for remarks made in 2022 rally, including revolutionary rhetoric that invoked violence. On the same day,
Yeah, so there's
ruling.
like instances of that going around there.
But it sounds to
But
me, did he get like sued for that? Did he get criminal conviction for that?
no, I don't believe so. I believe he's still practicing as an official there. I don't think he was like charged or anything like that. I could be wrong, but I hadn't when I looked into it, I don't recall that ever happening.
Let me see if I can find something. Well, you know what?
Yeah.
Let me just I'll put my stake here.
Sure.
On this issue. One, if any South Africans want to come to America for any reason, as long as they're like not criminals, then I don't care. Like honestly, I really don't care. I would welcome any South African to come to America. That's just because I'm generally want to welcome all sorts of people in this country, including South Africans. Um, if it is the case that there is a genocide, then I would absolutely be in favor of opening our refugee and asylum system to South Africans that want to come here. If there is even just like a rise in violence, I would open our refugee system to South Africans. I question that narrative. It looks like to me, and this could just be, like I said, again, another topic I've never really looked up, so I use AI when I need to quickly look things up. It looks to me like this guy was found guilty of hate speech. I don't
Was
know.
he like charged significantly? Does it say of any? Does it mention of any like specific punishment? Like
What
I'm
was
not
the
sure,
sentence?
but
Now
But anyway.
again, I can't stress this enough. Take all of this with a grain of salt because AI often gets things wrong.
yeah, it does. Are you using just ChatGPT or?
It's Copilot.
Oh, Copilot. Okay. That's good to know.
They haven't
What do
handed
you-
down the sentence yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on AI?
I use it at work a lot actually. I use it because I like making custom coloring sheets for the inmates that I teach classes to.
Okay.
So that they can
What
color.
do you do? What is it that you do again for work? If you don't mind, I don't know if that's.
No, that's fine. I'm a cognitive counselor at a women's prison.
Okay. Interesting.
And I know that like sitting in class is really and listening to somebody talk is really hard. And when I have to sit in class, I doodle a lot, so I'll make them coloring sheets. And I use AI for it, and it works really well.
Interesting.
But like go ahead.
Oh no, you can finish. I had like a dumb comment about how AI helps me, but you can.
Oh yeah, and I'll use it like especially if I'm trying to like figure out the other side. Like what I'll ask it, why do people believe this? And maybe it'll come up with some sources for me that I can read. Because oftentimes the people I talk to don't have sources on hand, and I wouldn't expect them to. And I'll also use it to just quickly ask it questions, but I always take it all with a grain of salt, and I'm prepared to like eat my words later if it turns out that AI, because I have pushed the source the AI claims they got the claims from, and then I read the article and I'm like, well, it doesn't say anything about this at all. It seems like AI is like too quick to try and please. So if it knows that I'm looking for a certain angle, or if it thinks that I'm looking for a certain angle, it's going to give me that angle. So if I'd already like asked it questions that led it to say something negative about Trump, then it's going to and I ask it a completely different question, it's going to remember that conversation that I had, unless I refresh it, and it's going to slant whatever it finds towards negativity, and I don't like that. But
Yeah.
it's quick, and it does seem like sometimes it's a better search engine than Google.
Oh yeah, I would agree with that for sure. I've been using AI a little bit more. Definitely helpful. I don't know what that means for the future of like jobs, but it definitely helpful. I found it to be incredibly helpful actually for playing D&D, and that's what I'm trying to use it only exclusively for.
Mm-hmm.
Is like finding rules and stats for that
Wait,
because
hold on a second. You play D&D
I do.
like in
I
real
do. I
life
just
with a group of people or online?
in real life. I just
Wow.
started like I just started so someone tried to get me into it a couple years ago and I did get really into it. But
Mm-hmm.
it was in California when I flew back home, I didn't have anyone IRL to play with and I'm like I don't want to like I was too awkward. I didn't want to go like to the comic book stores.
Yeah.
So I was going to play it online, but I got like so into it. I was like reading the books and I just didn't want to. I have this weird thing that if I get too absorbed into fantasy, I feel like, oh, I shouldn't do that because I want to focus on like real life stuff because I will like get so sucked into it. And we're to the point where it's like, distracting me from other things. And so I just got into it again and I'm just doing it in real life now and I'm just like drawing up campaigns and made like a couple of characters. It's actually a lot of fun. So when I do play, it does help with like stats and stuff.
Wait, you're DMing?
I'm trying to.
Oh
I'm
my
I'm just doing
gosh.
it. I'm just doing it with my husband now, though. Why? But I want to get better and like because there's a lot to learn. So I'm trying to get a little better before I, go out in the wild and do it. So I'm like practicing.
That's awesome. Would
Yeah.
have never guessed in 1,000 years though.
Really? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah. No, I'm like, I could have been such a nerd in high school. Well, I was kind of a nerd in high school. In college, I try to stay away from that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't help it. It always comes back.
That's
I always
cool.
get back to it. Yeah.
I think it was a smart move not going to the comic book store though. I found a group through my local comic book store one time, and they were like, I did. Okay,
Was it
I'm not
was
meaning
it
this
weird?
derogatory. They were like the nerdiest people I've ever met in my life, and I'm a nerd. Okay, but they were the nerdiest people I ever met in my life. Like one of the people, they knew like every single song from the Skyrim soundtrack. And like that's fine for them. I just don't jive with that level of nerd. Um, so I didn't really like meld with them that well. It was okay, but I'd much rather play
Yeah,
with my friends.
if they're like too lost in the sauce, you don't feel
Yeah,
comfortable with. Yeah, that's what
yeah.
I so that's like one of the potential dangers that I tried to avoid. Like my husband, he has friends that are like big into Warhammer
Uh huh.
and he would tell me of like all the money they spent on buying like the figurines and all that and I would say like oh my gosh that's so cringe, how could they do that.
Yeah.
And I'm low and I just got into D&D and like within just a week I bought a whole bag of like figurines and a
Nice.
book and I'm just like I'm eating my words because I get it now. The pipeline. First it's D&D. I'm sure I'm gonna get when I was told about Warhammer, I'm like I don't want to hear it because it sounds even more interesting. So I'm not gonna do it because I'm trying to save up my money. I'm trying to pay off my apartment because I will get sucked into that stuff, and that's why like I've actively tried to not do it.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, I'm stuck at home most of the time, so I'm just doing that now because that's what entertains me.
Okay, I mean, nothing wrong with it.
No, it's better than going out and like drinking and doing drugs. So
Oh, I do that too. Well, not the drugs.
yeah,
Can't say
don't
that
do drugs,
online.
kids. Yeah, yeah, exactly. No,
Uh,
but no, but it's a lot of fun. It does make me a little reclusive, which is also why I try not to do it.
yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's really good with it helps your imagination. Like I because all throughout college, like you focus on writing your research papers, staying to the facts, and I've not read fiction in like 5-10 years.
Yeah.
And now that I'm getting into this, I'm like, oh my goodness, it's like opening up a whole new, aspect of myself, which is very interesting too. So,
Yeah. That's awesome. What's your character?
so I have two. I had a dragonborn warlock
Mm-hmm.
first. Her name is Athena, and I did not get very far with that character because it is a warlock is like super difficult.
Yeah.
Um, so I made another one which I'm playing more consistently. It's just a tiefling, and it's a paladin
Okay.
right now. So and she's just like level 3.
Cool.
But yeah, so that's what I'm doing. What about you when you played?
I've really only I made two characters, but the one that I constantly play with is a dwarf druid.
Oh, nice.
And his backstory is he's afraid to turn into animals, which is like the main point of a druid. And he's afraid to turn into animals because he saw his brother turn into a bear and kill his parents.
My
And then the
God.
brother runs off. He thinks it was an
Yeah.
accident, so now he's scared of his druid powers. And I like for the DM to kind of play with that a little bit, put me in situations where I have to turn into an animal or somebody's gonna die or whatever it may be. But
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
his whole thing is he's trying to find his brother because he wants to know like what happened, and tell him he forgives him and bring him back. Well, he's not gonna go back home because the village has chased him out, but
That's
yeah.
pretty cool. Yeah, the backstory of my character, I try to make backstories for mine. The one that I'm playing right now, she's a tiefling, so they're sort of like abyssal creatures, or they have connections to the abyssal. Um, but I made her into this paladin, and she's like a Christian and sort of like a crusader. So that's sort of like what I'm working with there. And
Awesome.
then the dragonborn, I had like this really weird backstory for her where she well, this conversation is not going the direction I thought it would, but anyway, but but she like hates her life, and
Uh-huh.
she kills herself, and and I don't know if you can like actually do this in D&D, but I just did it as a backstory. And she wakes up in the back rooms, like the liminal space back rooms,
Mhm.
and she gets another chance at life, so she can resurrect, but she has to, as a warlock, instill fear and hatred of life for everyone in her community.
Oh
So
wow.
she resurrects and she comes back to that. And I made like this super cool backstory for her, and like this cyberpunk thing I was going with, like, because she's like in like these different uh what's what I'm looking for? Different universes.
Realm.
It's like, because it's like a multiverse technically, right? Like you could have multiple realities. But anyway, so and then she comes back to the D&D world. But then when I had written out this character, I realized like I was just starting D&D and I made her a warlock, and it was just difficult for me to keep up with it. So I wanted to do something a little bit more simple.
Mhm.
I'll probably play with her later when I get more advanced.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I try to give like more of a tragic backstory for her, and
Yeah.
it was pretty cool. Yeah.
That's cool. I like the concept of you got to make everyone around you miserable to keep living. That's
Yeah.
really neat. Um,
Yep.
have you played Baldur's Gate yet?
Have I played what?
Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate? No.
Have you heard of Baldur's Gate?
No.
Your husband plays Warhammer, but he's never told you about Baldur's Gate.
Friends play Warhammer. I've never heard of Baldur's Gate. No.
Oh, it's basically Dungeons and Dragons, the video game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, cool. The video game, huh? Let me look it up.
Yeah,
Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate 3 is the one you want. That's the one that like one game of the year and all that.
Let me take a look at that. I mean, I played World of Warcraft when I was in college, but the thing with World of Warcraft is that it gave me terrible migraines because of like the camera, like the POV.
Oh, Baldur's Gate also has like a really fucked POV, I think.
I'm
It's
looking at it right now. Yeah, and it reminds me of World of Warcraft a little bit. It
yeah,
looks like.
I hate the camera on that game. It's the most annoying thing. If you
I
ever
was getting really into World of Warcraft, but I just kept getting migraines, and I had to stop.
yeah. I was I tried to play Baldur's Gate with two of my friends. And they both had already finished it. so it wasn't really very fun for me because they already know like the story, what you need to do. One of my friends just went off and started doing things without me, and I'm just like not experiencing the game at all because all the shit was already done or being done. Um, so I never finished that game. Barely even started it. Wait, you played World of Warcraft when?
Many years ago when I was in college, like probably 8 years ago or so.
Did you play
Yeah.
any like other MMOs? Because I know WoW didn't work out. Were you a RuneScaper?
No. World of Warcraft was my last attempt at actually like trying to play stuff like that.
Okay.
Like I said, and then after that, I was getting really into it, and I noticed that too. But I just stopped playing it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really play video games all that much, which is probably a good thing because I didn't have any, I didn't have an Xbox or anything like that. I did play a little bit online. Like I remember I downloaded Cuphead and I played that, but I didn't play anything beyond that. And then just recently, now that I I'm living with my husband, he plays video games, and I'll like go on and I'll play through his like Steam account some stuff. And um I mean, I like, for instance, like Disco Elysium was neat and all that, but the problem with video games is that I can't play them for a long time because I will have like bad headaches, and I might just have to take Dramamine, I guess. I do play them on stream, but I will feel terrible afterwards.
Oh gosh.
Um I love fighting games though. I also love like Mortal Kombat. I love Mortal Kombat.
Oh, my
When I
girlfriend
when I
wants to play Mortal Kombat.
It's so good. It's so good, and I'm thankful that I never grew up with an Xbox. I would have never left my room. So, yeah, I can't say like I'm the best at it, but I pick it up pretty fast. So, that's another game I played. But yeah, I didn't really I didn't really play video games all that much when I was in my 20s. I'm gonna have my 30th birthday in like a few days.
Oh
So that's why
no.
I phrased it.
Have you seen
Yeah,
the
no,
have
I'm
you
so scared.
have you seen the SpongeBob meme where it's
Which one?
SpongeBob and
25?
Patrick running, and it's like the year, so what would be 1995 would be Patrick getting lassoed by, I guess it was Sandy in the cartoon. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I know what you mean, and that's like this is the people that are gonna turn 30
Yeah,
this year.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a good meme. I remember when I turned 30. I also saw one that was like, I'm about to turn 30. Does it hurt? And the answer is yes, it does hurt. Your
I
back.
didn't feel any particular way about it. I just like I felt that way ever since I turned 25. When I turned
Mhm.
25, I was like always achy, always sick. I think what it was, you know what it is? I think what it was that you know what the 27 Club is?
I know the 700 Club. I don't know about the 27 Club.
The 27 Club is like this conspiracy theory that people have where you do find a number of celebrities that die at 27.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's through like drug overdose, it's usually people in like the entertainment music industry. Anyway, it's this conspiracy theory saying that like the elites killed them at 27. I don't think there's any conspiracy regarding that, but what does happen is that when you reach your late 20s, particularly around the age of like 27, which is your middle late 20s, is that I feel like what happens with the human body is that that's just when you show those first signs of deterioration, and if you don't take care of yourself, it will become more evident. And what typically happens with people in like the entertainment industry, they do a lot of drugs, they drink, they're always performing, and they will just end up like overdosing and dying.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, it's more common with women, but I guess men feel this too. It's just more evident with women, where your body like has another change in when you enter your late 20s. And so what I found when I hit like 25, I couldn't, because in my early 20s I spent like I was not following a good diet regimen. I was eating like hot chips, drinking black coffee.
Mm-hmm.
I had an awful sleeping schedule because I could like withstand that. And then when I hit 25 and 26, I was just like, I don't know what it was. I got terrible acid reflux. I had like heart palps all the time. And that's when I realized like, okay, I have to take good care of myself. And that's when my body really changed. And but I did like improve my diet. I exercise every other day and I feel great and I feel fine. And I feel like if people just like take care of themselves in their early 20s, they will never experience those those detrimental effects later when they hit their 30s. Because I feel fine, like health wise.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
and I'm not
absolutely.
like here to turn 30. 30 is super young these days, so
Yeah.
it doesn't really
Okay.
make a difference
I
to me.
agree with you though. I think that one of our biggest problems in America, reason why so many people are so unhappy, is because we have shit for food and nobody's exercising. And I don't know, it's really bad. Um, my girlfriend's making me like not buy sweet stuff because I have such a sweet tooth. So whenever she goes grocery shopping with me, I'm like, babe, can we get ice cream? She's like, no. Can we get cookies? No. And yeah, it's helped a lot. Just keeping me on track.
That's right. Yeah, that sounds like my husband. He loves sweet stuff. I don't. I'm a chips girl.
Mm-hmm.
That's my problem. Sodium content is something I struggle with. But I don't know, when I incorporated more food, like I think it all comes down to just like having the basic ingredients. There has been studies done on the quality of food. Like there was this one study in particular that radicalized me about this, where they there's a study, there's a video on YouTube about this too. The guy who like I think conducted the study had an interview about it. They had a study where they had a piece of food. I think it was just like a generic type of sandwich, but one was constructed, it was put together in a factory and mechanically, and then the other one was done handcrafted. And they found that the body processes exact same ingredients, exact same number of calories, exact content of fat, carbs, all of that, but the body processed both foods differently. And I think the one that was created in a mechanical manner, like it was done only through machine, the body processed it faster, if I'm not mistaken. And so the study suggested that even in the conditions that the food is created in, can somehow the body will process it in a different manner, even if like the nutritional content's exactly the same. And when I found out about the study, I found that really fascinating because I don't think it's just a matter of just like ingredients or calories, but it's also a matter of the environment you're in.
Okay.
And we have to have a more holistic approach to what a diet is or what a diet should be. And I guess like when you're just trying to lose weight or gain muscle, it does just come down to calories and nutritional content, but I think there's more to the conversation than just that personally. If we're talking about like overall holistic health.
Okay.
And so that's what I typically tend to focus on more than just like the types of foods I eat. But I try my best to eat like just clean sources of food. I've incorporated a lot more meat into my diet and that helps me a lot. Um so I've been doing that, but
What is it that
not a
JFK made?
carnivore diet.
Yeah, carnivore diet. The meat talos, whatever that is.
Oh,
Did you?
like the beef tallow stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Are you on that
There's
kick?
not a lot of places you can go to that like cook food like that anymore.
Hey, so what is your opinion of RFK?
RFK, interesting fellow. I like the direction he's trying to steer the country in. I get what he's doing. He has a few wacky ideas, like he does a methylene blue thing. At least that's what they say. He does a methylene blue. I don't know if I agree with that. But I mean, I can't deny that he's like healthy for his age, so he has to be doing something right.
What about like the there's recent stuff that came out now I'm gonna say seemingly because I don't actually understand much of it, but it seems like he's doing something that's going to be harmful to the production and research of vaccines.
What specifically are you referring to? Like,
Oh goodness gracious! I think that he has first of all stopped the research for mRNA vaccine.
okay, he stopped the research. Okay.
Let me RFK dude. I know that there was a bunch of CDC people who quit because they said that the policies that he's passing is going to like kill people.
Yeah.
Um,
Let me see. Okay.
they're
I know.
restricting the access to COVID-19 vaccines to people who are 65 or older and
Okay.
people with high risk medical conditions, which means that like somebody like me I can't even get the COVID vaccine if I wanted to.
Was it okay? Funding over claims of the mRNA technology posed more risks. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This was just recent. This was just this month. RFK Jr.'s cancels 500 million funding for mRNA vaccines for diseases like COVID. Because the technologies he said pose more risk than benefits for the respiratory viruses. Yeah, I know he had like especially when he was being sworn in, there was when they had like the examination of him, the cross examination or the questioning period, whatever you call that. He had a few contradictory things he said about vaccines, specifically the COVID vaccines, and that was weird.
So what is your
Because it
opinion?
feels like he believes one thing, but he's trying to say another thing for the admin. But as far as like this particular story is concerned with the vaccines, if the technology does pose more risks, I would have no issue with them wanting to investigate it further. I don't know if I agree with them. I don't know if I wouldn't say I agree with them halting access to it altogether, but if it does indeed pose more risks, I would definitely want them to look into it. Yeah.
What if it's the case that like RFK is just like wrong on this, and he's getting his information from places like Twitter, and that's what he's getting? That's
Then he probably isn't shouldn't be in that position then.
okay.
If that's all that is, yeah.
All right. What is your opinion?
If he's just like saying things, I wouldn't want him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like that either.
I mean, from my perspective, that's what it seems like because, like the scientific research seems to suggest, and I haven't heard anything, to the contrary, nothing like substantial, nothing from like a scientific journal that suggests that mRNA is particularly dangerous. I've gotten 3 of them. Millions and millions of others have gotten 3 of them. There are side effects for some. Some people do get like myocarditis, but the reasons for that is because vaccines activate an immune response, so does the virus itself. And at least with a vaccine, you have a much more controlled immune response, which lessens your risk of myocarditis when compared to getting the virus. So there's like a whole lot of things. So yeah, it seems like the mRNA vaccine is just a thing most experts are saying. And when I say most, I mean mass majority of experts are saying it's like a miracle technology that could revolutionize the way we deal with viruses in the future, and restricting research in this way is like huge opportunity costs that is like measured in lives.
Yeah, I'm just reading through this BBC article talking about it's mentioning how he said the department is shifting to funding towards safer, broader vaccine platforms that remain effective even as viruses mutate. He claimed, though, that the mRNA vaccines can help encourage new mutations and can actually prolong pandemics as the virus constantly mutates to escape the protective effects of the vaccine.
Well, like, can I explain that? Because, like, me as a layman, I know what's going on there, and that is that viruses mutate. That's how they work. That's how they keep surviving. Viruses also mutate to our natural responses. If a bunch of people catches the virus, we have an immune response to it. There's going to be viruses that mutate from that, and that's how we end up with like different flu strains. Even if we don't have flu vaccines, we're going to have mutating viruses. So like the idea that vaccines are causing this is just ridiculous and uneducated. Like it's quite frankly stupid.
What do you think his end goal is here, though? Do you think he's like just trying to have people?
I think he's a conspiracy theorist. I think that he's like bought into conspiracies. I don't think that he has like solid scientific backing for these claims.
What do you think about his push towards like for instance the food dye situation? Do you remember that when that happened?
Yeah, I don't have a strong opinion one way or another. I probably would. My intuition says that it's probably good. I never understood why our like drinks need to be dyed with caramel color. It's give me the drink
Because
with.
when I looked into that story, because from like this is why I'm like skeptical to make broad assertions, is because initially with the food dye situation I was against it. I thought this is dumb, like, it people should be able to do that if they want. It's completely fine. But when I
Mhm.
looked more into it, and I can't say I'm completely sold on it, but when I looked more into it, like there's a lot, especially with Red 40, there's like a lot of linkages between that and like
Mhm.
neurological issues and
Yeah.
ADHD. And I have ADHD, so like, I now I'm like second guessing if it's like a dietary thing. I don't think it is, but yeah, and like when I did find out like parts of Europe also eliminated this completely from people's diets, it did make me question, well, if that's the case, why hadn't the US
Yeah, no,
um, you know,
that's not a thing. But like, we're eliminating red dye 40 doesn't cause people to like not get a vaccine that may have needed it, or halt the
sure.
research on potential life-saving drugs. So even if like he was doing that based on conspiracy, even if like nothing he believed about red dye 40 was like right, I still wouldn't care because I don't give a
Well,
fuck.
what I'm trying to say is though that just this conspiratorial thinking, I guess what I'm trying to say is that it could lead in both directions. As far as this vaccine thing is concerned, from what I'm looking into it right now and what I've heard in the past, I always did take an issue with him kind of like taking um strange stances on the vaccines, especially when I think he turned around and he said he wasn't against vaccines when he said he was. Um during the cross examination. So I had an issue with that. It seems like to me, especially based on the way you've explained it, I don't think that's probably like the best foot forward in eliminating this healthcare.
Well, hold on. I'm gonna rephrase what you just said, and you tell me if you agree. This is a probable detrimental foot forward when compared to an
Yeah,
alternative future
sure.
where this doesn't happen.
Especially from just this article I'm looking at, and I didn't look into this extensively because the vaccine thing is like not my major area, but if they are, if his team does find like potential risks, I would want them to investigate it. If like the development of that vaccine, if they like looked into the process of how that was conducted and they said, hey, look, there's major risks in here, I'd want them to investigate it, even if it doesn't, even if it may even slow the production of these or the access of it. But if it, so I'm not necessarily against them wanting to halt this. However, um, if it does turn out that there was the potential risks and doesn't pose really anything at all, I would be completely against it. Yeah, and it could be potentially detrimental in that case if they are basing, especially as you assert, if they're basing their claims on just conspiracy theories.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's a reasonable position. I just, like I said, I believe that he doesn't have solid scientific backing for his beliefs in this. So the 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 idea that there's like these potential there's potential detrimental side effects to these vaccines that we don't already know about is very, very, very unlikely in my mind.
Yeah, I was never against vaccines or the COVID vaccine. Actually, that's one of my very unpopular positions in the right wing. Um, I was one of the first. I mean, I thought Project Warp Speed, as he called
Mm.
it, was actually a good idea. It's the whole
Oh
vaccine
yeah,
and COVID thing
absolutely.
is so weird. It was so weird how like the parties flip flopped on that.
Yeah.
Um, I think that
Well,
that was
hold
a
on.
good.
What do you mean by that? The parties flip flopped on Operation Warp Speed.
Or just in COVID in general. Do you remember when like the initial I think it was in November actually, when they were first talking about it, how the two it seemed like the consensus of both parties was completely swapped. Like it was the Republicans that said this is a big deal, and the Democrats were saying that this is a nothing burger. And
Like the
then just a
vaccine, the
couple months
development of the
later,
vaccine, or COVID itself.
no, COVID itself.
Okay.
Yeah, and then when and then as the months proceeded, it seemed to have switched over time, and I remember finding that really odd, because it seems as though we just obviously we as a nation, I guess, we just base everything, including our own, the own like survival of our country and just talking points of the party.
Hmm.
But as far as like especially with the vaccine thing, initially with Project Warp Speed. Like I was really excited about that, and I remember, especially someone that lived in a state that we were heavily locked down. I was just saying like I really want this vaccine to come out. I think that's a great thing, a great deal. And then all of a sudden, I started seeing Republicans saying the alternative, and that like that really upset me because I thought, well, hey, look, we have a solution. But and the conspiratarding does happen within right wing circles. So that was also, I guess, not surprising at the end of the day, especially because like the whole Q thing was happening at this time too. Um, but I took issue with that with conservatives.
Um, when we first talked, you said that you supported Trump for a couple of reasons, a couple of big reasons. One was that he's kind of put a fire in the conservative movement. And the second one was because you believe that his Supreme Court nomination, should he get one, would be better and like upholding the Constitution.
Mhm.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Do you still believe after like I guess the most egregious one is the immunity, criminal immunity for presidents? Do you still believe that like Supreme Court nominees from the conservative Supreme Court is better at upholding the Constitution?
I think it generally is, yeah.
Okay, so how do you explain the decision to give presidents criminal immunity when it's nowhere to be found in the Constitution?
So, I think what the school of thought that I ordinarily come from is I take a more originalist position on the Constitution. And so for the nominees from Trump, or I'm sorry, his selection, I would, again, I wouldn't say they were perfect, but what I will say is that where I'm coming from at the time when I said that, and I still believe this generally, is that Trump's pick would likely pick someone that comes from a more originalist interpretation of the U.S. Constitution. And so, for that reason, I would think that would be a better option than what the alternative was, which is, I mean, typically, when you have people that are more of a liberal mindset, they would, they don't view or they don't analyze the Constitution in a similar way. So that's where I'm coming from. And clearly, like Trump's picks, it's upsetting a lot of his supporters right now, because some of them don't rule in his favor, especially with like in regards of the due process aspect of like the deportations, I think. Um, but because I think didn't Amy hold on, Amy Coney, yeah, she did a few rulings that went against what he wanted. And she was picked by him. So, and I take no issue with her as her being a Supreme Court pick. I think that would have been a better option than whatever the alternative would have posed. Even if like their analysis of the Constitution may not be the most, I don't know, the most objectively true. I don't think anyone can do an objectively true analysis of the Constitution, but it is a more originalist interpretation of it.
Okay. I mean, you would agree with me when I say that like the president's immunity decision was not an originalist interpretation of the Constitution, or no?
Potentially, uh, so there, yeah, I don't want to concede too much, but I would say that it would be questionable. It would be a questionable analysis to apply that. Yeah,
Because like some
especially because he is such a divisive figure, though. I mean, yeah, I would have to agree with that.
okay. Um. All right. What about this statement? Do you disagree or disagree? In Trump's second term, it seems like he is picking people that are either A, politically advantageous to him, or B, just like straight up sycophants, to be a part of like his cabinet and his nominees.
If they're politically advantageous,
I'm thinking like
Or, like-
RFK for that. He
Yeah.
picked RFK because he didn't want RFK to be against him.
No, I hear you. That's a good question. The thing with Trump is that he's just such an interesting personality. You would think that he would want to surround himself with yes men, but I also can see him trying to work the system. Uh, is it wrong if I probably can't say both, right? Because that's
No, I think he does
The thing
both.
is-
I'm saying he does both. Like
Okay.
if he can find political advantage, so you got Elon Musk and RFK in those categories, or if there's just like sycophants, you got the Kash Patel and Pam Bondi and yeah.
I mean, I would have to say both.
Okay. So you agree with that
Because-
statement?
Well, yes. I mean, but that's just the nature of the game. I think in politics in general, you do want to pick people that are not only ideologically aligned to you, but like support your measures and what you're trying to push through your administration.
There's a difference in being. Did you see that cabinet meeting that he had where one of the people were like, I want to see your big beautiful face on the side of the Commerce building.
Your big beautiful face.
Yeah, like there's a difference in like being ideologically aligned and being sycophantically like. See, I don't even know how to explain that. Sycophantically obsessed with him. Like for they're doing it for political gain. I think they're grifting, but
I mean, even him and Elon had like the major falling out afterwards. I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would say people are obsessed with him. Within the administration, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of other examples. That one was a big one that like major fallout,
yeah.
and clearly him and Elon like clashed a little bit when that happened. So, um, let's see. I mean, Amy Coney Barrett, like that was just another example.
That was a first term pick. I think that the types of people he picked in his first term and the types of people he's picking now are two totally different types of people.
What do you how?
Like he in his first term he didn't pick people based off of like loyalty to him and whether or not they're going to sycophantically support him. He picked people based around what the people the already ingrained established people around him would advise him on, and he got rid of all those people. All those people are gone now, or at least the mass majority of those people. Now he's got yes man. He's got Kash Patel, who wrote a book called "The Plot Against the King," which was a children's book about the 2020 election and how Hillary Clinton was trying to steal it from him.
Yeah.
Like that's insane in my mind.
I don't think Kash Patel is a good pick. It doesn't seem like he's enjoying his time as as FBI director, but yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Bucks.
I guess I could see that, but like I said, we did have a few fallouts already with some of his key figures. Now, I don't know if that's because like it just didn't, turn out to be in his favor and he just made a wrong decision, or it's because these people are genuinely, or he's genuinely questioning their abilities, or they're questioning him. I don't know. But
I mean, like,
I would say that though, considering what Trump has been through and what he's experienced, it would also make sense that he would want to get people that are more loyal to his cause. I mean, what he's trying to do. So, considering what he's already been faced with?
Have you heard like what do you think about what's her name? Tulsi Gabbard firing the person who wrote the report in the DNI that said that Argentina was not sending the gangs into the country. So have you heard that story? You know what I'm talking about?
Vaguely.
So my understanding of this situation was that there was a Department of National Intelligence report written that was basically going against Trump's narrative. That said, he said that there's no evidence that Argentina is sending Trinity Agua into the country, and Tulsi Gabbard fired him. Pam Bondi, I think is her name, fired the lawyer who admitted they made a mistake when they deported Abrego Garcia. And Donald Trump is trying to fire Donald Trump fired the first people who came out with the jobs numbers. After they revised them down, there's a pattern of you have to tell Trump what he wants to hear, or you're going to get fired in this administration. At least it seems like to me. Does that? Do you see that, or is that worrying to you? Does it make you? At the end of this, I'm going to ask you if you regret your vote for Trump. So, like, does it make you regret your vote for Trump at all?
I don't regret my vote for Trump simply because of the alternative we could have had.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I feel like I don't like to constantly, just because I'm a conservative, I don't like to have to constantly defend Trump,
Mm-hmm.
because I understand the questions, like the questionable nature of him. He is a very incendiary figure to the point where I predict it's going to split the GOP in half, and the party in half within the next few years. If not, if unless it's already has happened, beneath the facade that they're trying to push here. So it's going to happen. It's going to split. It's not going to be the party it once was. And in a lot of ways, it isn't. I've seen it happen in 2016 when I first worked for the GOP. However, I come from the mindset that I think this perhaps was necessary for the GOP to even survive. We needed a new mobilizing figure, and that's what I talked about last time, to reinvigorate the people from the conservative, from like the, I don't like to say anti-establishment because that's just not necessarily true. Anti-establishment can go both ways, but more of like the anti-neocon, neoliberal, general consensus or regime system that we were living under for the last 20, 30 or so, maybe even 40 years. And that's why he was necessary. And I don't like him as a person. And there's, I definitely have said before, like the recent a flag burning thing, I completely disagree with. That's like stupid too. There's a lot of aspects about him and his administration that I question, but at the same time, the thought processes and the objective that he's drawing us towards, I agree with. Like, I want a more nationalist understanding of protecting Americans, American jobs. And even though I'm not against immigration necessarily, but I think we're reaching a point where we are, losing our sense of what Americanism means, for instance. I think that was necessary, and that's how he initially, ran his campaign and was sort of like flung into relevancies because he ran on that platform, and that was like an animating platform for him. So like, yeah, also like the cultural changes and the cultural shifts that he has inspired is what I would support. As him as a person, does he have like populist tendencies? Extremely populist tendencies? Absolutely. And so does his movement. And I never considered myself like a MAGA person. It's sort of like I know like maybe that's like hard to conceive for a lot of people these days politically, but I don't vote for even the politician in the moment of. I want to vote for the idea of what they're pressing towards, if that makes sense. And I know that sounds like perhaps not a very concrete answer.
No, I understand what you're trying to say. I guess when you look at Trump and the things that he's done, the things that he's doing, the things that the changes that have happened in America, since he's become president, you've got January 6th insurrection, people not trusting the 2020 election results, him questioning the 2020 election results. You've got the administration firing people for telling him the truth, and trust of our institutions and our information gathering being reasonably questioned. You've got the sycophantic nature in which people around him are supporting him. I've got a clip up. Where, like it's insane. It's like North Korea levels of insane, in my opinion. You got the lies that he just tells over and over and over and over again, that people believe or just don't care that he's telling. And I understand the Democratic Party lies, but holy shit, this is like a whole other level in my mind. You got see him saying him tarnishing our relationship with our allies. You've got he's recently kind of changing on this, but you've got the long spans of time in which we were not supporting Ukraine the way that we could be. Um, you got the immigration crackdown of people who aren't even like criminals. Like the worst crime was that they're here undocumented, which you may or may not agree with. I did hear you say on Wix panel that like the immigration thing is a thing that you support. I don't know if you still believe that because that was back in like March. You've got you got his character, which you've already said. You got him suing media companies and media companies capitulating to him. You've got him attacking our educational institutions, Harvard and what was the other one? There's a few of them, but they're capitulating to him, settling lawsuits with him. You've got Trump coin. You like it's all of this stuff that I'm saying. It's not even like the surface. Like this is just stuff that came off the top of my head. I don't even have a list in front of me. This is just stuff that I'm able to ramble off the top of my head. Like, is this what you want the conservative movement to be? Is this what you want him to push forward?
No, like I just said, Trump as a person, I do not care for. It is the broader movement of the conservative movement still surviving. It was not surviving previous to Trump in the way that it could have been. Like I said, do you not believe in like a neoliberal slash neoconservative regime system that the United States was functioning under up until now? Because I certainly do, and there is I think, a broader global threat towards pushing this, and it's a bigger conversation, I think, globally, because we do live in an interconnected world. But I do think that there were actors within the American institution and in the American government that I think was pushing the United States towards a direction that I wouldn't want it to go towards. And Donald Trump, even though, he does have his character flaws and he is a polarizing figure, sometimes you need a polarizing figure to push this movement, sort of like this. And this is why I think a lot of people hate him, even within the Republican institution or the Republican Party, is because he's sort of like he is breaking through general neoliberal um, this neoliberal institution that was propelling the United States towards what. And this is like the part of the conversation that gets weird, but like towards a more one world government regime system. And that's why I support not necessarily all the tenets, but the major tenets of what Donald Trump does and what he does, why he originally ran. Now, whether he is, running for his own ego or whatever, that's a different conversation. And I don't like him as a person, but I think what he's doing is necessary. Towards or activating this base of conservative activists, or whatever you want to call it, anti-establishmentarians, into preventing the nation of the United States towards going that direction. Now, are there a lot of issues with the administration? Absolutely, and I think a lot of them can be critiqued, and should be critiqued. But I am a very broad thinker, so I can't like talk about like the nitty-gritty of stuff. Although I can like sit down and look at all those cases that you just mentioned. And I know there's like a deeper conversation about like anti-constitutionalism and those things, definitely against if Trump is standing on any of those aspects, which he certainly does in some degree, and I don't agree with.
So what
But
Oh, go ahead. Keep going.
yeah, go ahead.
Oh,
Oh yeah, but anyway, I was just getting towards the fact that like I've never said that I like all of his everything about him or he's perfect. This is going to be his last term anyway. Now,
maybe.
who's gonna
Maybe. Have you heard him talk? Like, I
Yeah,
know people say
yeah.
he's just joking, but it's always just a joke until it's not.
Yeah, when we get to that place, then I'm willing to concede everything I just said. I really don't think he's gonna have another term, though.
Okay.
Now, he may try to have someone to pick up the mantle, and that's really gonna happen. I don't know if JD Vance is gonna be that guy. A lot of people are saying it is. I don't think it is. But I just don't see JD Vance doing the same.
It's
Like,
impossible to tell at this
mobilizing
point.
Yeah, it's too soon. We still have time, but he's definitely gonna like have someone pick up the mantle and continue it forward.
So
And but
let me ask you then,
but
in your mind, what would Kamala Harris have done that was so going to be so damaging to the conservative movement that you envision being pushed forward? That that like you would prefer all of those things that I just mentioned over her?
What could have she done more damaging?
Yeah, what would she have
Um,
done? And specifically, like, because like I can make the argument all day that she would have been better for America as a country,
sure.
but and there would be a lot of points you would agree with. You even said you don't like the tariffs, but
Yeah.
I'm talking about because you seem to be more focused on like the broader conservative movement, and you think that Trump
Right.
is good for that, and him winning was
Mhm.
better for that than Kamala Harris winning. Is
Yeah.
that correct? What would
Are you
Kamala?
asking if she did something specifically that made me vote for Trump, or what
Well, what I'm
exactly?
asking is like, how would Kamala Harris winning have been so damaging to like? How would Kamala Harris winning be damaging to this broader conservative movement that you want to see push forward?
Yeah, it's anti-nationalist. So I mean, her and her party and the people of her party are doing. I mean, they're saying things that are completely antithetical to what you would say American nationalism is. So, and I know there's like maybe you could say like a different perspectives on this. And I do agree, like to a certain degree, the United States does have to participate in the global system, like in the global trade, for instance, in order to survive as a country.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that the Democratic Party as a whole, and it remains to be seen, they may change this. Maybe they'll be more patriotic. I mean, they are more or less so, but I think that we couldn't even talk about immigration really, not effectively until Trump ran. We couldn't. That wasn't like a major platform for him to run the platform that he did and the way he did was sort of like really, really different in 2016. And that's why a lot of people got riled up is because of the way he did it and having these conversations. And I didn't see Republicans nor Democrats really having this conversation, but especially not Democrats.
Oh,
So I guess that would sort of like encapsulate where I'm coming from.
I think like I mean George Bush he ran on compassionate conservatism when it came to immigration. Like he had an immigration policy.
Yeah,
The
well,
Obama was considered the deporter in chief. Like even though he
this is
didn't
true, of
run
course.
on it,
And they don't talk about that,
yeah, he didn't
strangely
talk
enough.
about it because
That's why.
like people like me don't like that. Um, and I'm the ones that are voting for people like Obama. But like they it's
Even like
not
mainstream media
yeah,
do.
because people like me don't like that. That's
Yeah.
um like the and it's Joe Biden. It's not like Joe Biden actually had open borders. We had a lot of people come in. Don't get me wrong, I understand that, and you can put probably I would say probably about 25% of the blame on probably I would say TPS for Argentina and Haiti and just say the more lax nature posture he took when it came to immigration. But at the same time, they were saying, "Don't come yet. We can't process you right now." They were putting people on the border to patrol the border. They were deporting people. They were trying their best to process the influx of people, and I think a lot of the influx simply came from one the fact that we weren't processing people during COVID, and two, backlog, just in other countries, and two, just like COVID ravaging the poorer countries more so than it did richer countries. So there was just more people that wanted to come to America, and Trump, to his credit, I suppose, absolutely did stop people from wanting to come to this country. I personally think that's a bad thing, not just because I'm pro immigrant, but I'm pro having a country that people want to come to. And Trump has like destroyed that, in my opinion. All but destroyed it. There's still people that want to come to America, but it's not like it
Still
used to
gonna
be.
be people
Yeah,
wanna
yeah. I
go
mean,
there
America's still a great country, and I think that we are
for
strong enough
sure.
to not to come out on the other side of a Trump administration and still be a great country. But we can't keep this up because eventually, if we keep doing this shit, it's going to not be a great country anymore. In my opinion.
Well, if we can even have a country, that's the problem, is that I feel like a lot of Democrats and in some cases some Republicans treat us more like an economic zone than just a country.
Huh?
And that's why they're like focusing on maintaining these systems like you know, broader immigration processes to keep it as that, as an economic zone, rather than just a country, than a nation, a country. And I know the United States is a very unique country in that, and it's difficult to like ascertain exactly where does Americanism begin and where does it end. But I do think it's also necessary to be pretty clear about our laws as a country and the fact that we are a country. I feel like you're right in asserting and saying that Obama did have a lot of deportations under his belt as well, and I think that's I actually think that was a good thing, considering that we do need to maintain the laws of this country and maintain the integrity of this country by doing so. So I think that the way that Trump is approaching this, um, yeah, his administration has problems, his character has flaws, absolutely. But he was one of the figures that at least also loudly does this in a way that we can have a discourse, a necessary discourse about these systems and also what defines us as a country.
Yeah, so there's like enforcing the laws, which I get. I can at least understand that. I don't like the laws that we have on the books for immigration. I think that they should be changed in the ways that Democrats have ran on changing. And actually, Trump himself kind of alluded to it in a tweet somewhere, but he's never done anything in the government. But where he was like, all these people that have been here for 20 years shouldn't be deported. But like also, I understand that, needing to enforce the laws. But there's that, needing to enforce the laws, and Trump just has some character flaws. And then there's like masked ICE agents going on the streets to I'm not going to use the word abduct because they're doing it in a legal way, but they're taking people off the streets, not identifying themselves, not oftentimes not having any type of identification markers, and just like terrorizing migrant communities. Like there's a difference in those two things, in my opinion. And I think one is objectively bad, and we can do the enforcing of the laws in a less bad way.
In a less bad way, I guess we could do in a less bad way. The thing is, though, you don't really see this happen that often in other countries other than our own, well, in greater Western countries, Canada as well. Um, and yeah, I mean, some may misinterpret it or interpret it as being inhumane. But I think also we are pretty lax in our immigration system, actually, especially seeing how it is wreaking havoc in, for instance, like the housing market for our national people, and the fact that we are allowing this to happen, or even like we're financially facilitating um, some of these uh, some of these populations coming into our country. I think that if we're doing that, and we have been allowing this to happen for many years now, it is perhaps harsh to like allow ICE agents to, rally people up and have them leave our country. But I also think it's sending a message into the case that we are a country and we should probably defend the country as what it is, and that is being a country. Could it be done in a better, nicer way? Yeah, I guess it could be. It also needs to be done more efficiently too. And maybe we could look into reforming some of these ways and deporting these people. But at the same time, we have been allowing this to happen for many years and having them come into this country, also through chain migration as well. And I haven't been seeing at least even like a broader conversation about how we can actually fix this with previous lawmakers and presidents. We have had deportations with other presidents before as well, but we also need to be pretty clear about where our stance is as a country collectively, and that we don't allow this to happen in our country legally.
Well, why is deportation the only option? Why is like if you're not a criminal, if the biggest law you broke was coming into the country between the port of entry and you came here and you worked and you've been here for 5 years or so, why can't we just give them a pathway to citizenship?
Sure, yeah, and I'm not necessarily opposed to that. I feel like though right now, and I do waver on this back and forth because, like, I am empathetic. I don't want to tear people apart from a country that they've contributed to. I certainly understand that. And depending on how many resources we have, depending on the access of resources we have, I'm not necessarily opposed to that. At the same time, however, like I've been saying, we are reaching up to the millions at this point. Did you see the recent statistic of the amount of undocumented immigrants, and on top of that, undocumented immigrants that could potentially live in this country? It's up to, I mean, I can pull it up. It's like couple a couple hundred million If
A
I'm not
couple
mistaken,
hundred.
it's like
Don't we only have like 300 million people in the country?
well exactly. Hold on, let me double check. Let me find the X post for this because this just recently came out. The number is, and this was not just undocumented, but where was it? It was like was it from last week or this week?
So what does the number represent? What is exactly is the number?
Hold on, I'm pulling it up. I'm pulling it up. Where is it? Where is it?
59
Last
million?
week or this week? That could be the one I'm. Did that just come out, that story?
AI. As of June 2025, there are approximately 51.9 million immigrants living in the United States.
Yeah, that's not.
The immigrant
If I knew we were
population.
gonna have a discussion, I would have come in with the numbers.
Oh yeah, no, that's
Oh,
cool. If you don't, that's what you're saying is that
okay.
there's a
So
fuckload of
we have
migrants here.
yeah, so we have this is all together, but the Trump administration says it's reviewing 55 million people with US visas for potential deportation violations. That is not also counting the fact that we also have a lot of people that are just completely undocumented coming into this country. So we are potentially looking at like at least 100 million people. Um, I have this article right here. This came out like just like a week ago. I don't know if you saw it
Probably not.
on
I'm
like
not
Twitter
on
or anything.
X.
Oh, you're not? Okay, that's
I
a
mean,
shame.
I
I thought
have
you.
one, and I used it to like reach out to you when I first like saw you
Okay.
on Wix show, but I don't go on it ever. I also don't
Oh,
go on
okay.
Blue Sky. I don't like either of those platforms.
Do you have a Blue Sky?
I do have one, and I tried it, and I didn't like it.
How is Blue Sky like?
It's just like left wing Twitter. It's fucking
Okay.
yeah. It's an echo chamber, and I didn't like it. Like, and X is the echo chamber, less so because X had its history, but
Sure.
it's much more like an echo chamber on the other side. But that also might be because I purposely followed right wing people on X, but like nobody ever posted anything intelligent. So.
Who did you follow right wing on X?
Oh gosh, I don't even remember. I don't even think any of them are relevant anymore, except for like Ben Shapiro.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, does Blue Sky, does it have a platform similar to X? Like,
It
does it
looks,
have the same
yeah, it looks the layout's exactly the same, but it's
interesting?
a bunch of liberals whining about the state. I don't need
They have an
that.
interesting platform where you can only go based on invite. I tried applying a few times. It's never gonna happen. I'm never gonna join, I guess.
That's not Blue Sky, is it? Talk about something different
Yeah,
one, right?
isn't Blue Sky based on like who you like you have to get invited to join, I thought.
No, I was never
I
invited.
really? I tried like I tried getting an account twice, but each time it like didn't let me because
Maybe when it first came out. When it first came out.
maybe. I don't know, maybe. Blue Sky. Maybe they changed it, I guess. Never mind. It looks
Yeah,
like I can create an account now.
as of
Huh.
February 2024, it ditched its invite only system. So it did used to be that way.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I'll be making an account though.
I think you'd
but
have fun on Blue Sky, and I think you'd have fun on
really,
Blue Sky because you like to debate. I would imagine. Or on,
I like to debate. I suck at it, but sometimes I'll debate.
yeah.
Sometimes, but yeah, I would imagine though they have pretty stringent policies on Blue Sky, right? Like I'm sure I'll get banned at some point.
Who
Or is
cares?
it pretty like similar to any other platform?
I have no idea. But like, if you get banned, who cares? Like,
Yeah, it
like,
doesn't matter. It
yeah.
doesn't matter.
This
I
is
can't
not.
imagine getting a big following on Blue Sky.
Um,
It looks like it's kind of similar to like how Substack looks like.
I think Blue Sky does need a right wing insurgency into that platform because I don't like echo chambers, left or right. I don't like echo chambers. They're so pointless,
Yeah.
and they cause people to believe such stupid shit.
Do do you believe? Do you go to Substack at all ever?
I've been there. I actually try to look your Substack up, but I think you gotta pay for everything on there for a lot of the things.
Yeah, I haven't been writing the last couple weeks. It goes behind a paywall after like 6 weeks, so a lot of my
Ah,
backlog is like just behind a paywall now.
gotcha.
It was initially 4 weeks, now it's 6 weeks. I'm trying to extend it, but
I did read
yeah,
one of your articles, and honestly, like I didn't understand a lot of it.
yeah,
I
it's
consider
kind of
myself an
boring.
intelligent person, but I think that's just the topics that you're talking about is way outside of my grasp.
Yeah, that's the thing is that I do write a lot about, like I said, psychology, culture, more so, and sort of just like, even like just general esotericism, just like things that I ordinarily like to talk and think about. I like politics and policy, but I feel like I perform better and I get my ideas and viewpoints better through written format. So that's kind of what I want to do. I've already published a few articles in various journals, and I think I'm kind of gonna go that route because I like having my stream and all that. It's really fun, and I like, the fans I've accumulated. But I want to do something more, because I would say I'm like an academic at heart. So I like writing. I like going over really deep topics and like focusing on a single topic rather than the broad. But getting into academia would be difficult for me, I think, considering that I have like a history in working in like Republican politics and conservative causes. So I don't know. I think I'll see how far I can get along into that. But for now, I'm just doing like a lot of writing.
Yeah.
Um, so I haven't had time to write a lot because my life has just been all over the place. I've moved out, I got married, had like various job changes, so I'm just trying to like stay sane and stable. On
Yeah.
top of all that, having like a stream and and all that stuff. So, but I'm surviving, I guess you could say, managing.
I would say you're thriving, but then again, I don't really know much
Thriving?
about your personal. Yeah, I mean, you live. Well, I don't want to say where you live, but you live in a great place. You got a husband. You're buying an apartment or renting?
No, renting.
Oh, okay. Because you said paid off
I'm
your
buying.
apartment. Uh, um,
Sorry if I said that.
well, you could buy the individual complex. Like some places would like sell the. I guess it would be considered
I
a
think
condo
so.
at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
But like, I mean, you're doing well for yourself. You've been in politics. You've done some really big things in politics. I don't know. Did you read my last text message, right? Did you talk about that or no?
No,
That's fine. All right,
not
moving on.
really.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Okay. I am curious about it. So if you want to text me and tell me about it, but that's up to you. I want to know how it went. You know. Um,
We can talk about it in like DMs and stuff.
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, something you said when we were talking about immigration was that like it depends on our resources. Like you're down for like allowing people to come in if we have the resources. That is that a fair?
Yeah, if we have the resources and if I think we're like fiscally at a place to do so.
Hmm.
Like for instance, we do house migrants quite a bit in this country, and I just think that especially with some of the other crises that we're facing, including like homelessness, um, that we could perhaps like divert our attention elsewhere
Yeah.
as far as like using our money and resources. And I'm not saying like house homeless people from the get-go. I'm saying, we need like we need we need a few like rehabilitation programs before we do that. But what I am trying to say is that, there are, especially with Generation Z, we are having younger people that are finding it more difficult to apply in their fields,
Yeah.
get jobs in their fields, even afford an apartment even. And I'm not so hard on cash myself, but even for me, it was difficult to find a place. Granted, I may live in a little bit of a more expensive area, but I'm hearing of stories even in middle America, people are finding it difficult to afford uh even an apartment. So and you are seeing multi-generational housing occur more and more, it with people of all from all cultures. I do have a theory it could possibly be because we do have a higher immigrant population now than in the past, so perhaps that could contribute to greater multi-generational housing because people of various cultures do that more often than Americans do. But still, contributing to that fact is also the affordability of housing is so difficult. So like anyway, there's a lot more areas I think we could put our attention to right now.
Yeah. So
Um,
I agree with you, but it's more like a yes and. And maybe this is naive of me because I think that yes, absolutely. Let's take care of our own. Let's feed the homeless and house them and get them the treatment they need. Take care of our take care of the people with mental health issues. Take care of our poor, and take care of our young people and but like also I believe that and maybe this is like I said naive of me. I haven't run the numbers on this, but I believe that America is just such a fucking fantastic country. We have the ability to take these people in, assimilate them into our culture, and taking pieces of their culture and assimilating into our culture, and taking care of them and allowing them to get to a place where they can start working and helping us with things like nursing and building our houses and picking the food, and like we have that ability and we've been doing it for decades, and I think that it's been working out fantastically. And I don't think that this is an either or situation. I think we could do both. We just don't. And the second part of that is just real quick is that I don't see anything that the Republicans are putting up that would do those other things that you were saying we need to do instead of letting migrants in. As a matter of fact, they're taking stuff away.
You mean like helping helping with the housing market, or?
Well, helping with people who can't afford housing, helping with people who can't afford healthcare, can't afford food. They cut SNAP, they cut Medicaid, and they don't advocate for those things except for when they're trying to argue that we can't do something else for somebody overseas.
I guess yeah, it's sort of like a chicken and the egg thing, and where exactly does this initial problem come from, especially the crisis of unaffordability. And look, it's a very complicated issue, and I'm not saying like it's just immigration. I do think we are reaching levels where immigration is becoming a bit unsustainable, especially when I in the past looked into how much resources is being dedicated towards helping the migrant population thrive here. But yeah, I mean, there's various questions and causes for instance, like the housing unaffordability. Some of that is also related to the low total fertility rate as well. And also like the particular, or I think colleges contribute to this a lot as well, and contributing to individuals' debt and their inability to afford homes or rent an apartment. And I think education reform is another way we can rectify that as well. It's not just limited to immigration. So there are many aspects to this. I do think that immigration is one of those things that we should probably primarily focus on first, because it seems to be the more obvious problem. But for instance, I place a lot of heavy regard to education reform, and that's a really unpopular one for either party, I think. The Democrats do place greater emphasis on education, which I do appreciate. And I hate the talking points from Republicans or the conservative side right now, especially with major figures like Charlie Kirk, that are trying to downplay the role of the college institution and saying how college is a scam and all this. I completely disagree with that. However, I do think certain reforms need to be done, and like where an individual goes to obtain education or education, whether or not they get into academia, but that's beside the point. But anyway, but I think with all these systems, with the college institution, with our immigration policies, and even our overall culture, for a long time has been accumulating up to a point where it has become unsustainable to live here. And I do agree with you; it is a great country, and I'm not against immigrants coming in here. My parents came here as immigrants, and then they assimilated, they became citizens, and I'm not opposed to anyone who wants to do that, regardless of what culture they come from or what country, as long as they are willing to become citizens and assimilate. And I think that should be a major tenet in becoming an American, and protecting that. But regardless, but I completely forgot your question. I was kind of going on and on, but I guess I was just trying to agree with you and saying that there's a lot of things. And you were saying how you want to fix both. Yeah. I mean, ideally, I would want to fix both too.
I think we can fix both. Like I think that's where we disagree. I don't think you feel like we can do all those other things if we're letting migrants in. I vehemently disagree, and actually I think that migrants help us with a lot of the problems that we're facing. because yes, they do take up housing, but they also build the houses. Yes, they do take up medical care, but they're also being the nurses. Like, go ahead.
Yeah, but we're also I feel as though we are reaching a point where we are now we are replacing those jobs with just that class of people, and I don't like that. If that makes sense. Like you do have sort of like the host culture of the United States, right? Get into these positions and more like white collar, I mean, because they all go to college, all of them, and that shouldn't be the case. That everyone needs to go to college, men or women. It's not for everybody, but we facilitate that drastically, and now we are reaching at a point where yes, a lot of Americans not only are they not willing to do certain jobs, they're also not having a replacement fertility rate. So we're sort of like at an impasse right now, which yeah, we do have to import labor because we have reached a point where it's not feasible to even rely on ourselves. I think that's a problem because in a way we're inadvertently creating a new slave class, and I don't know like that. I don't like having to import people from different countries to do those things, especially if you know we are a country that we should be able to provide other other roles in society or other opportunities for anyone regardless of what country they come from or their background. So that I don't think like just importing labor from elsewhere is just going to solve that problem, because at the end of the day, even though it's a potential solution, it is a solution right now, it's just a band-aid on a greater wound that I think we could look into resolving in more appropriate ways.
Possibly. I think that you said that we're creating a new slave class. I think that the aspect of immigration that even comes close to creating a slave class, and even this isn't really doing that. Besides, like, obviously trafficking slaves, because that does happen, but is like the fact that we have like closed off. We have limited pathways to citizenship, and I think that if we opened up the pathways to citizenship a lot more, we'd have a lot less people that's in this quote unquote slave class. They would be lower wage workers still, I think, because they're usually low skilled workers.
Yeah.
But even still, like those people are happier doing that here than whatever it was they were doing in their host country. Because if they weren't, they wouldn't have come here.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, no doubt they would want to come here and do that. I'm not saying immigrants are evil people or migrants are coming in to ruin our
That's
country.
not what I'm. That's
I
not what I'm. That's not the point.
Yeah.
That I'm not accusing you of that. What I'm saying is that like those people are. It's not really a slave class. These people are happier doing this here than they were doing whatever they were doing in their host
Well, it's
country.
not it's not like yeah, it's not like in the classical sense of what it actually means to be a slave, obviously. But when I say slave class, what I'm trying to say is first of all, it depends like what immigrants we're talking about. If we're talking about people that come here legally, then they're only limited to so many options. And also even with systems like the H1B system, where originally the idea was to, have qualified people to come into certain positions that we can't have from the American stock or whatever. Even though I think initially the H1B visa program system was actually quite beneficial, I think, for a country, it turns out that that's turning out not to be the case, and we're importing these people to do jobs that doesn't require specialization or anything, like being a cashier or working in a gas station. And why is it that that's occurring, that we are giving these jobs, and is it simply because Americans don't want to do those jobs? If that's the case, I think we need to rectify that culturally in our country first before just replacing those jobs with immigrants. Now,
But
yes, it does benefit people from other countries to come in here and benefiting themselves, and that's why we see by chain migration happen often as well. But I think that that's just not really conducive to having um, a healthy and functioning country, because you are sort of making like this class stratification naturally that occurs, where you do have, for instance, people from, and the reason why I brought up H1B is because those workers are willing to do various jobs for less pay and more hours, right? And so and whether or not you want to claim that's because Americans don't have work ethic, you could potentially say that. I also don't think we need to be competing with the rest of the world within our own country for basic jobs that even, a 20-year-old can do just to save up while they're in college. And I think that it's perhaps it's a deeper cultural issue. It also could be, I think, improved by just tweaking the immigration systems that or the policies that we have already put in place that is facilitating this behavior.
Um, I I think that the person who comes here, regardless of if it's HB1 or if they came here as an asylum seeker and waiting on trial, whatever, and works the cash register, if they have a better life, and by the way, I meant to tell you this 30 minutes ago, but if you need to go, just let me know. I mean, I'm enjoying the conversation, so I'm in no hurry, but like, also, you've been
Well,
on.
a couple of minutes, I am noticing I am going longer than I should have.
Yeah, I was gonna
So
say
a couple
you've
minutes,
been
I
on
may have to
here.
go.
Yeah, you've been on here a lot
Yeah.
longer than we agreed, I think. Even with the lateness. But anyways, like if a migrant can come here, work cashier, be happier than they were, and an American person can refuse to work the cash register and be happier than they would be if they were working the cash register. Maybe they're going to school and not having to take a job. Their stuff is just cheaper because there's somebody who's willing to work the cash register at a lower price than what an American would be willing to. Um, then isn't that like a win-win? I will say
Well, I
there is a class of people in America that loses, and that is the person who needs that cashier job
yeah.
to survive. But I think there are other ways to take care of those people. But go ahead.
Oh, well, I guess it depends what ways we're talking about. But yeah, I mean, it is a win-win in the moment. I'm saying I'm looking at the long-term effects. I don't think that's necessarily like the healthiest or the most conducive way to help the people of our country. And at the end of the day, even though it does help that immigrant and their family, and I think that'd be great. But like you've just mentioned, we do have a class of people that would have the short end of the stick here. And those are at the end of the day like people of our country. And I think that it would only make sense that we help out the people of our country first in any means possible, rather than someone else from a different country.
Okay. We can leave it there if you want. It was a great conversation.
Yeah,
Um,
well, sure. Thank you for having me, and I hope I made my points at least somewhat clear. But I appreciate you having me. I hope you're doing well. We haven't talked in a while, so
yeah. Yeah. I am doing well. I bought a house, by the way.
nice.
Yeah.
Congrats.
So yeah. But I did that in Biden's America. I don't think I could ever do it in Trump's America.
Okay. Sure.
But anyways, yeah, I bought a house. I'm still working the same job. I'm closer to my nieces, so yeah, things
Nice.
are good. I
Good
know
to
you
know.
talked a lot about what was going on with you. I didn't really talk much about what was going on with me, so
Oh, it's okay.
put it all
Yeah.
there at the end.
Well, it's good to. I mean, it's great that you could get a house. That's awesome. How, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you? Are you like in
33.
your mid 30s? 33. Wow, that's pretty good for 33. I don't know what part of the U.S. you live in, but that's still like pretty good because like I think like the median age like
38. 30. Yeah.
no, I think it's older. I think it's older than that now. But at 33, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So, good job.
Thank you. If you ever want to start an online D&D, definitely hit me up.
Yeah,
I
absolutely. I have
need.
never done it online, but that would be fun, I think.
Yeah. And any video games you need somebody to play with. You've got a whole community, but if you need somebody to play a video game with you, hit me up too. And also debates. I need people to debate. I might end up joining your Discord if you think, but I probably won't talk there much because I don't want to get kicked out.
Yeah, I'll send you the link after this. Let me see if I can do it now. I hate Discord, so
Discord
I
is
will.
ass. It is like the epitome
Yeah.
of like is the epitome of UX designers just doing shit because they need to justify their job.
I do not like Discord. I am part of the where is it? I'm like trying to find it right now. Here it is. Yeah, I can send you the link now. It is libertarian, so but I'll send it to you. I'll just like text it because
Wait,
I
so
don't have
how
any.
many people in your Discord are like against what Trump is doing on immigration then?
Actually, you'd find quite a bit because
Yeah.
libertarians, they can be a little bit. For this one, it's not like it's just it's not completely. It has 78 members in total. But I have the Culturama channel in there, and there's always like generally like 15 online. But I would say like some are critical, for sure. the guy who runs it is critical of Trump.
Good.
Um,
Based.
but yeah. So you may be a little bit at home there.
Yeah.
But in the Cold Trauma channel, I just like pop up like, oh, I'm gonna be live here. I give updates and stuff like that. So and for sure, I'm when next time I have a debate, I will have you on. Is there like any particular topic you feel like you're particularly set in that you could debate?
I love the immigration topic. I can do healthcare. I can do
Okay.
I could do like just like general how is Trump doing? I'm very anti-Trump, so I I have a lot of material on that. Oh, I also like debate. I believe so. People like to rehash things like January 6th and 2020 election, COVID, and stuff like that. And I'm one of those people. But people will be like, "Oh, why are you bringing that up? That's such old." But I think it's really important for us to rehash these things that, in my mind,
Yeah.
like 33% of the country just has the facts 120% wrong, and it's really important to rehash those things because I think that Trump uses those things as justifications for bad behaviors in his administration. I give you an example: is that this idea that Trump was targeted with lawfare, that his house was raided unfairly, was
Yeah.
used to kind of justify the Bolton raids, which there could be justifications for the Bolton raid. That is not that. That's just not one of them. And anyone trying to use that as justification has got the facts wrong on, or just is like sycophantically supporting Trump. You either got the facts wrong or sycophantically supporting Trump about the Mar-a-Lago raid. Because if it had been anybody else that did this shit that Trump did with those documents, the people that are saying that he was unjustly rated would be calling for their head, and we know that because they did this, they chanted "lock her up" to Hillary Clinton when what she did was so much more mild.
Okay, so definitely immigration, healthcare, and anything to do with Trump.
Anything to do with Trump, yes.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like stuff that I believe he's dead to rights. I'll even debate the New York criminal trial because I think that he was dead to rights on that one too. And people seem to think that that one was like the weakest case. I don't think it was a weak case at all. I think that he did the things that they accused him of. I think that they didn't seek out those things to get Trump. I think that a lot of the information came from a federal investigation that was already done. And so like I have a lot of facts on those too. So
Okay.
um
Yeah, well, when I find a right winger that you
oh,
can
good
debate,
luck
I'll
with that. Right wingers
oh
don't want to debate these days. What's up with them? They're being how many people you got in your audience right now?
I'm not live streaming. I'm just chatting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not live streaming.
Well, yeah,
Um,
I was gonna appeal to your audience, be like, come on, debate me, but okay.
no, I know I'm just chatting. I don't really live stream on Fridays. Because I'm trying to stay in the Rumble program, I might do like a game later tonight, but it really just depends. I'm definitely doing a birthday stream tomorrow though.
It's your birthday
Um,
tomorrow?
it's on the 31st. I'm gonna do the day before,
Oh, okay.
but yeah, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be like half free, half members only. It's gonna be the first drinking stream, so
Okay.
that's gonna be for the members. But I'll just be like playing video games, I think, just to get my hours in. But also it'll be fun because I have nothing else to do,
Yeah, yeah. Well, happy
and
birthday.
it's a Saturday.
I would
Thank
join,
you.
but I think I'm gonna be dancing with my girlfriend.
Yeah,
Either way, my girlfriend's gonna be here, so
nice.
same while she's here.
My husband's working all weekend, so
Oh, what's he do? Do you mind?
he works in security.
Okay.
Yeah, so he works like awful hours, like at from 7 p.m. to like 7 a.m.
Is it a prison or like private security?
No, it's just like various private. It's like
Okay.
various facilities, yeah. So,
All right, cool.
yeah.
And if you know
Well,
anybody that's looking for a debate, send them my way.
yeah, I'll find someone. I have a couple in mind, but I want to reach out to them first and see if they're able. And I'm gonna think of a debate topic, but I might base it on one of the ones you mentioned.
Okay.
I just want to wait until like something in the news happens too, where it's like enough time so you can prep, but also still have a relevant topic. So I'll play it by ear, but I'll reach out to you when I have something in mind.
All right, cool.
Yeah, no, really appreciate that. Um, It's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be exciting. We had our first culture clash debate panel yesterday, and we're gonna have one soon. So you're the first one on my docket for the left side of the conversation.
Fantastic. How did it? So do you talk to a lot of left people on the left? I know you've gotten in with Wick and got some
She
Mehdi Hassan.
Yeah, Mehdi Hassan, not exactly, but no, Wick and I actually Wick recommended Soy Pill last time. I would say the only community is Wick's community. I think. I mean, I was like in Destiny's Discord for a little bit and like chatted there a while ago, but not enough to, I would say, like remember anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I watch like left. I know bread tubers and I know of them. I don't like really
Oh,
interact with
I
them.
hate bread tubers.
Yeah, I know. I follow quite a few of them. Some I would consider maybe not even bread tube. I don't know. Like
Like,
I will watch like Vosh, Hunter Avalone now. I don't know if he's considered one. Hassan, I don't watch Hassan,
fuck Hassan,
but I
man,
used
they
to.
make the left look so bad, and I hate it. I hate it.
It's
And,
wild.
and it's not just like their beliefs, their conclusions. It's like the way that they get there is just wrong. Like
Yeah,
it's like, oh, they're committing a genocide in Israel, and it's like, yeah, a lot of things are happening in Israel, but like, you consider it a genocide? Like, no, I don't know.
yeah. I
I
don't know.
just I don't think that that's an appropriate word for that.
It's very divisive.
Yeah,
But especially the figures. I've been watching. I've always followed Destiny too.
yeah,
Um, so I well not recently. The last few months, he's been going through a lot apparently right now. So with like his
yeah.
case and everything, I don't know too much about it, but
Oh my gosh, that guy needs to stop gooning.
it
Like,
finally caught up with him though. It caught up with
like,
him.
like if he could just
It's
keep his dick in
sad.
his pants, he would be golden right now. He'd be like talking to senators and shit.
Yeah, that's the sad part is that he does have a lot of that potential, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Um, and he doesn't utilize. I mean, he makes bank, like he makes a living off of it. So I can't say he's not successful, but yeah, he could be. I think more institutional. I guess is what I'm trying to say. He could
Well,
like legitimize himself
he doesn't
in
even
a better way.
need he doesn't even need to be more institutional. He just needs to, like, you know, not be such a deviant when it comes to sexual
Yeah,
things, because it gets you.
it all comes down to that.
Yeah, because like the thing that he did was that he shared a
Fiction.
video of him having sex with a girl, and apparently he didn't get like
Is it?
her explicit
Is it?
permission to do that, which
Yeah.
which like apparently there was some kind of like environment with this girl where she was sharing his stuff, so he just sort of assumed it was okay for him. And like, okay, I would say you should probably still ask, but at the same time I understand, but like also just don't do that. Like, why did you need to feel the need to share that stuff in the first place? I don't. It's fine, but like,
I think it eventually did cut up with him because for someone that does have is like has a background with with sexual exploits. I was actually surprised that like for so many years he really didn't. I mean, he had his controversies with like various women being like I mean there's a few that come to mind, but not really like anything that big. And then it finally happened, and I'm just like, whoa! It took like what 10 years or
yeah.
so.
I mean, I
He only
think,
became relevant 10 years ago, I think, right?
yeah, like 2012, I think it was.
Oh,
Uh,
even longer. Okay.
but he has a very good foundation of like what consent is and how to treat women when you're
Exactly.
with them and stuff like that. I think that I truly just think it was just he fucked up, and he wasn't like, and if you think about all the women that he's been with, which I'm sure the number's really large, um then like it's probably understandable that he's fucked up, because like, I mean, I've been with, nowhere near as many women as he has, and I can think of times in my past where I've been like, I didn't mean to be the way I was, but what I look back at it and I'm like, oh yeah, that was kind of shitty of me, you know. So
Yeah.
there have been times where like you, even like regular men fuck up just because we're human, and I think that that's what this
Yeah.
was for Destiny. But like
He has
also,
quite the roster,
huh?
and he attracts like he has quite the roster. And he seems to like get involved with unstable people. It
True.
seems like.
I mean, they are the
I
most
don't know
fun.
what. I guess so.
I'm so,
I
yeah.
guess so.
Um,
But yeah, I remember a few. like for the last few years, he's been having. I don't even remember their names. Like there was this one girl who was famous on TikTok. I don't know if you know who I'm talking about. She maybe your audience knows.
I don't have an
But she
audience.
was like obsessed with him, and I remember following that, and that was like a whole thing. And then there was like the Anna saga. Like
Anna was the
I
one I
there
was
was
thinking of. Yeah.
yeah, Anna was the other one. No, there's one that she has like a big following on TikTok from a song she made, I think. Anyway,
She started with a K. She was like a Middle Eastern girl.
yeah, she had an OnlyFans too.
Kalefa or something like that. Kifa or something.
Yeah, something. I think she's off Twitter now, but something like that. Anyway, I can't believe I forgot her name because I knew it for a while. But anyways, yeah, it seems like every saga he had, every one of these girls were like just mentally insane, and I thought, wow, he really has a type, I guess. But he
Yeah.
really needs to like. You would think like after all these cases, he would learn his lesson. Um, but what was the one that he just had the issue with? What was a girl? Was she a streamer that he
Talk about Rose.
had? I guess so. The one that he released a video of.
Oh, that one. Pixie is her name.
Pixie.
Yeah, she's some kind of
Okay.
streamer or some
Pixie.
social media influencer, and he showed somebody that he was hitting on the video, and then somebody hacked them and posted it all over the web. So like her having sex with Destiny is like all over the web now.
It's insane. That's sad.
Yeah.
But Pixie, okay. I don't know anything about Pixie, but I'm assuming that she has a.
I don't know either.
Maybe
I honestly don't follow the drama slop. I'm just like, there is a line for me when it comes to content creators. So I keep up
Yeah.
with it enough for me to know, like, is this guy so morally deplorable that I can't follow him anymore? Or is it like, I mean, that one, I think,
I guess so, because yeah, like you said, like he has quite the roster, and he really didn't get into like any major controversies. He had like girls that were obsessed with him and acted crazy, but this was like the first real one. So I guess it catches up to everyone.
yeah.
But when you're that big, it's inevitable that something's gonna happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like it's really really sucks, and it's really really sad that that happened to Pixie. Like I'm not trying to take away from, but like if like you said, like the percentage of women that have complaints against him compared to how many he's had, like it's just something's bound to happen. I think I mean, just numbers wise, it would be odd if it didn't.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, Destiny's fascinating. His entire online career was just very interesting. And now that you mention it, I mean, he is a very successful streamer. So but he could have done more. I feel like politically, because didn't he try? I mean, he tried to in Georgia.
Yeah,
He did like his little outreach thing.
he
Yeah.
did. He was
But then
actually.
he was dropped, wasn't he?
No, that was Nebraska, Omaha, the mayor's race. He was
Oh,
from that because
okay.
of controversy. But now, like, this would be prime time for him because, like, people are not caring. Politicians aren't caring about that so much anymore. And like, they're trying to get onto these social media platforms. I think that they should go onto Hassan's show more. And
Okay.
I hate Hassan. Like, don't get me wrong, but I think his audience needs to hear an argument for why the people should go out and vote for these Democrats. Because his audience is the audience that's like, I don't like Trump, but also fuck the Democrats, so I'm not voting at all. And those are the people that lost us the election.
Sure. Yeah.
Because if we had gotten the same turnout we did in 2020, we would have won.
Hassan is still I mean, he's still pretty successful. I don't know anything about him right now. He's still like
Oh yeah,
streaming on Twitch.
he's the biggest left wing streamer.
Still?
Yeah, but
Okay.
he's like his views are deplorable. There was this one clip I saw of him. It was he was claiming that Israel bombed a hospital, and he was like watching a missile go up in the air. And if you ever seen like a video of a missile, you can't really tell what the missile is. But he was like, "Oh yeah, that's the F-62." You could tell by the sound. He doesn't know shit. He's just making shit up. And like he came to the conclusion that that had to be Israel bombing the hospital. And it turned out to be Hamas testing a missile or some
Oh.
shit. and it
Yeah.
ended up landing in the hospital. And I'm just like, that's what I mean by like the way they come to their conclusions is so flawed. The way they do it is they have the conclusion and they look for the evidence to make it to the conclusion. And even when you're wrong, you just forget about it. You're just like, oh, that never happened, and it's insane to me. And I don't think people should have Hassan on their shows. Like Pod Save America had him, The Bulwark had him, and I hate that. But people should go on to Hassan's shows, politicians and stuff, to be able to dispel this idea that you shouldn't vote in election that a lot of his audience has. To dispel the idea that Democrats are the same as Republicans when it comes to issues like Israel, because they just aren't.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that. He, you know what's a name I don't hear very often anymore? Whatever happened to Dylan Burns?
He
Is he still, like,
is doing real life
streaming?
stuff. He still streams, but he's doing real life stuff now. He's like in Ukraine right now.
He's still okay because he started that like a few years ago. I actually liked his was it called the Hippy Dippy?
I love the Hippy Dippy, yeah.
Yeah, I liked watching that. That was fun. He doesn't do that anymore though, does he?
No, and it's sad because when I started streaming, one of my goals was to get onto the.
Yeah, but then he stopped.
Then he stopped. He stopped right when I was starting to make inroads with people too.
Oh no, that's
Yeah.
awful. Yeah, that sucks. That was really good. Yeah, but he's still doing that stuff in Ukraine. Okay, I was just curious, but I actually liked his stuff quite a bit, even though I didn't always agree with him. I liked what he was doing.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm like well past my time, so
Okay.
I should probably go. But thank you so much for having me, and we'll keep in touch. Okay.
All right. Thank you for coming on and chatting. Talk to you
Absolutely.
later.
Yep. Talk to you later.
All right, that was my stream. I don't know if I actually had people come on. I saw one person post a GIF. I appreciate you stopping by. I don't know if you stuck around or not. But yeah, hopefully, that conversation will lead to debates in the future. That's a part of the goal. I mean, just talking to Daniella is great. She's a cool person, but part of the goal is I'm really trying to find people to debate, and I can only go but so hard on her because she's like nice, but I need some blood sports in my life. I need some blood sports. And also I feel like if I went hard against her, it would have she'd probably not want to talk to me after that. All right, so y'all have a good night and bye bye.